a good Philly cheese.
I'm going to use my high horse.
It's not hard to cook chopped steak, people. It's hard to get good bread.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Sandman has entered. The Tigers are ready to be 10.
And he goes, what we do if they get to 10,000? I'm like, well, that'd be something big.
This is absolutely lit. What?
I'd be so privileged to have you guys come down to the Cintas Center and have us beat UConn.
Yes! Let's go! Yes! Let's go! Yes! Here. Oh, number 5 is what? 8 it is. Done! Free pizza for the Shermans!
Playing that, I can't imagine. I mean, the biggest game I've ever played in is like a district final game. I thought I was like cloud nine, you know?
Same thing.
We're getting a fat W! Oh my gosh! Yeah! Let's go back to his brother! Oh my god! What a catch! Oh my god! What a catch! Touchdown play! Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Right around here is subpar. That's why there's not a good cheesesteak around here.
I respect you a lot more for saying
Oh
that.
my god.
Tony's life's complete.
Did you just make that or something?
Welcome to the Ride the Wave Show! NVD in his bag with the new intro. That was awesome. Whenever Karen Maris is comparing my district championship loss to the Super Bowl, I'm like, thanks, bud, for at least.
I literally think that is like the epitome of this show.
Yeah.
It's just like it really is. Like if there's a moment that was this show, district final, the same thing.
He's the same thing. Like,
such
no,
a
it's
bummer.
not.
Such a
It
bummer.
is, Karen, not even close to what you've done. Oh, but that's funny. We were all just sitting here talking, then I was like, is he just playing like old videos from? And then I was like, oh, this is the new intro. That's all. Thank you, Derek. That was
Hell yeah, man.
yeah. That was welcome into this episode of Ride the Wave Show. Starting off pretty good here. Boys, let's just get right into it. It was a crazy time over the weekend. College football got way more intense, and I'm talking about the game. I took Eastern Carolina #1 overall, and then lost to 2-6 FAU.
So have you won one yet?
No,
Notre Dame L's?
So I took Notre Dame. I haven't played with them since because I pulled a Brian Kelly, and I just couldn't live with myself. Went to Eastern Carolina. Literally lost in the playoffs 2 years in a row, first round. Then became #1 overall, 8-0. And Adam was here to witness 3-game losing streak. Lost to 3 terrible teams. Won the Liberty Bowl, first bowl game ever won. So it's been shit. Adam, how has your college football dynasty?
See, I do it a little bit different because I play on a
to
slightly
glory,
harder
right?
difficult.
Oh, yes, you
slightly
do.
harder difficulty to make it a little bit more realism. So that way, like, if I was on East Carolina, they'd be going like 6-6, you know, barely scraping by. But
Yeah.
I got a Memphis team that's doing pretty good.
I do have a road to glory player at Ohio. Went 10-1 and got a shitty. I think I got like the Myrtle Beach Bowl. I was like, what the disrespect?
I learned the unlimited XP glitch for the Road to Glory.
Yeah,
so I
haven't
started
tried
doing
that yet.
defensive players with it. So it's like I got like a 6'8", 400-pound linebacker out there who's just a 99 overall. It's just fast.
And he was the 4th string guy. So like it was.
No, that was a different one. That
Oh
was a different
yeah,
one.
he was on
This one-
Eastern Michigan,
Yeah.
right?
Are you guys naming these guys properly?
He
Oh,
named his,
sometimes,
what was
like-
the crossover for that one linebacker? It was like Brian Bosworth.
Oh, it was like Brett Boswell.
Yeah.
You know, and like he's got like it looks like he grew up in Tampa, Florida. If I'm being honest, yeah.
But yeah, he was a 99 overall, 4th string. Had one like position battle, moved to the 3rd string. Did have another position battle for what, like 3 weeks?
Yeah.
It's
The one I
like-
made today that was like 6'8", his name's like Huberto Smithington III.
Yeah.
So, like it's just wild.
So yeah, it's been a crazy time on college football. We're still waiting to take over Kent State for the Cade Wolford. He's not on the roster yet, but we do believe there will be a roster update before the extra season starts.
I think they have to
Yeah.
for the new freshmen coming in.
So whenever that happens, we would take them all the way. Tavion Galloway is in the game. He's tied in for Purdue. And then Ironton has a starting linebacker at West Virginia.
Yeah.
Really should have remembered his name before the show started, but
Yeah, I want to say he's a junior, so you start your dynasty with him. You got him for 2 years before you got to leave, go somewhere else.
it
just saying.
blew my mind because I never heard of the kid. Like, how did this kid from Ironton literally go start at West Virginia and I've never heard of him before. I still haven't heard of him to the point where I can't remember his name for the life of me. So I'm sure our Ironton fans will be getting on our ass for that one. But we do have a pretty jam-packed show today. We have Brock Blandon coming on to discuss coming back from his injury, playing for the Paints this year, living a lifelong dream of his, another Paint Valley alumni in the past 2 years to be on the Paints, hopefully bringing in another trophy as well. Then we have the #1 tackle in Ohio being recruited, coming on the show today, Adam Guthrie. So cannot wait to talk to him about his journey, what the Miami Chase Panthers are going to look like this year. We'll also be breaking down the FAC for football this year and seeing what our opinions are on them. I don't think I'm going to put every team as the FAC.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Call it the FAC.
That new favorite conference. Sorry, SVC, but I don't give a FAC what you think.
Yeah, I got the FAC.
So, yeah, we break it down them. I promise I won't say that every team's going to go 7-3 this time because I rewatched that last week, and I think every team, I was like 7-3 or 6-4. Well, that's impossible. Yeah. So, and then we will be entering the courtroom again today. Adam's courtroom has a little bit different meaning to it this week. Me and Tony going head-to-head on that one. And then we'll be drafting historical figures for a battle royale, fight to the death. We're going into the Roman Coliseum. One team will leave alive. Let's get to our first segment, though, guys. We haven't done it for a couple weeks, and I am super excited for this one. We still call it Two Truths and a Lie because we can't think of another name for the segment, but let's get right into it. Two Truths and a Lie, round 1. Abe Lincoln was a bartender at one point with his bartending license being found in 1930. So it took him a while to find it.
They found it
in
1930?
Yeah, they found him having his bartender liquor, whatever you call it, license in 1930. He did not have it. He was not alive in 1930.
Obviously.
Yes. Romans used to use pee as mouthwash. And monkeys throw their poop to assert dominance in the wild. Which one of those is a lie? I will repeat them for you real quick. Abe Lincoln was a bartender. Romans used piss as mouthwash. Monkeys throw their poop to assert dominance.
Personally, that monkeys one, I think they just do it because
for
like
fun.
That.
Yeah,
for funsies,
and this
dude.
is where I thought about it. Like, he's progressively got different each time he's done it. So now I don't even really know how he's thinking. But like, my thing is they're doing it. It seems like they're having a blast. They're not turning to the first male being like.
Well, you think about it. Whenever they're throwing at like people that are visiting the zoo. They're kind of throwing at them, asserting the dominance.
If you threw poop at somebody at the zoo, wouldn't you think it's funny?
It's funny to us, but like, imagine them thinking like, I think so low of you that you don't like my shit.
So is he fighting for us to believe this is true right now?
No,
I don't know.
because then at the same time, Romans using their piss as mouthwash. I guess there is some kind of
Bear Grylls drinks that shit.
Shit. I'll take that one as the lie.
I'm taking the monkeys.
You're taking the monkeys?
Mouthwash piss.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. It was the monkeys as the lie.
Yeah, is it just having fun?
Yeah.
Girls just want to have fun, and
I
monkeys just want to throw shit.
Yeah, I think monkeys just like.
Because like you were like they throw them at the zoo. I was like, nah, I think they're just.
They're probably like, hey, watch this.
Yeah.
Look at him scram.
But Abe Lincoln was a bartender. They found his bartending license in 1930 and put it up in one of the, I want to say the Smithsonian Museum, but I'm not 100%
There's just
sure.
so much
I
stuff
literally
going on
only
back
picked
there.
that because he didn't talk about it much. So I was sitting there like, is he trying to sell the one he didn't talk about?
And then Romans really did use their piss as mouthwash, but they actually would pee
and then sterilize it. Like,
it wasn't like they just pissed and then used it.
That's not fair then, because I'm sitting here being like, they were smarter to know there's bacteria. If they have an open wound in their mouth and put piss in there, they were smarter than that.
I'm not saying
I kind of just figured.
I'm not saying they never did that, but from what I looked up earlier, I think they had a little bit of a.
The ancient Roman culture knowledge that I have is just like just being a dude, knowing stuff about that. It's kind of like I could see because especially the Romans were just like, they were super like, we're trying to take care of ourselves. We're better than the rest of the world. That's why we're taking over everything, and we're dicks.
You know, the first thing I thought of whenever I read that fact is whenever we were watching Two Guns the other day, and the guy was pissing on his hands whenever he was about to use the baseball bat to beat him. Yeah. He goes, my granddad did this, never had a blister. It's like, I would rather have blisters.
Just don't touch me with your hands, man.
All right, round 2. Talkeetna, Alaska, once had a cat as a mayor named Stubbs from 1997 till 2017. Fred Silverman came up with the idea of the show Scooby-Doo when he took acid and went into the woods with his Great Dane because he thought he saw a ghost in there. While working at Starbucks, bassist Mike Kruger, Chad's brother of Nickelback, would often tell his customers, here's your Nickelback, which inspired the name Nickelback.
Give me the Nickelback one.
That's the lie?
Yeah. I want to go that one's the lie so bad, but it's another one that's in C, the C spot. So, like if you're going A, B, C. What was that first one?
The first one was Talkeetna, Alaska, once had a cat as a mayor
for
named
20
Stubbs
years, meaning
from
that
1997 till 2017.
For 20 years, so I'm like, when did it get elected? It didn't get elected as a kitten.
It got elected in 1997. I don't know what age the cat was.
It had to be a year or two old, so you got to think if it's. I thought the math was weird.
Well, that's. I know, like, just regular, like, what are they called? Moggy cats, which is like stray cats can live anywhere from like 13 to 20 years. So it wouldn't be far-fetched. They probably elected him in there and was probably like, damn it, he's still alive. And just like, he just lives.
I love how the debate is how old the cat was. They elected a fucking cat.
I know places Alaska, to do dogs.
Bro, that just doesn't even count.
Sarah Palin got elected somewhere up there. So, like, I mean.
Population 4.
So, yeah, I mean, if you got 3 votes, I mean, like, I would vote for a cat 100%.
Imagine the bribes.
And I know there is a dog somewhere that's a mayor or governor or something.
I don't know that one for sure. I don't want to.
I do.
In England.
But what's the second one?
The second one was Fred Silverman came up with the idea of.
Yeah, that sounds too. I think I'm gonna have to agree with Tony on this one. It's the C option. Which was what?
While working at Starbucks, bassist Mike
that
Kruger.
one. Yeah.
All right, I win again. It was the Fred Silverman one.
Yeah.
Totally made that up by myself because I felt like so. Yes, Nickelback literally got their name because the brothers bassist that said that. I looked that up. It's true.
I didn't know Chad had a brother.
Me either. I didn't know it was the bassist. Yeah.
I just knew when he said Music Kruger, I was like, all I knew was Paul and Nickelback.
Talkeetna, Alaska really did have Stubbs as a mayor from 1997 to 2017. Yeah, when he died, the same family had another cat.
Jesus.
So listen, this is how it was. They technically aren't a city.
See?
What is it? It's in Parks and Rec. Whenever they lose their citizenhood, it's just like territory, pretty much. And he was wrote in. So there were 2 candidates, kind of like right now, and everybody's like, "Yeah, fuck them both." Stubbs, and he won.
So Stubbs' child. Can we write him in for the presidency?
I don't know.
He's an elected official.
From what
I think with the presidency, there's probably like some sort of stipulation, but because of how
I think it's because
when he got elected, there's probably some sort of ordinance in place.
I think it's since they weren't a real city. They were. That's why it was like legally allowed. To be
there's some
they
ordinance.
They could say whatever they want.
Like,
he was the freaking mayor.
Yeah.
Don't take it away
from what I've read too, I don't know if it's brother or if it's like his son is still the mayor.
Chubbs.
I don't know
his son
name is.
Chubbs.
Yeah. All right, round 3. Koalas' fingerprints are virtually indistinguishable from humans. The band Rush is featured in more video games than any other band or musician in history. And Russia has a larger surface area than Pluto.
The chuckle on Russia. I don't know.
I want what's the middle one?
One sec.
Rush has been in more video
I'll take
games.
that one.
Yes, Rush has been in more video games than any other band or musician in history.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers have been in like 1,000. And they got Tom Sawyer and I don't know.
They don't have Tom Sawyer.
Rush?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No.
They don't have Tom Sawyer.
No, I feel like Red Hot Chili Peppers have like a massive thing, and I'm not saying they're the one that's most played, but
So you think the Rush one is the lie?
yeah, I'll just take that one. But you also sit there and Rush has been around, and probably every skate game had it.
I'm trying to figure out what he said first.
The koala
first one was
I think
koala
is
fingerprints are virtually indistinguishable from humans.
I think that's right. Who, me?
Do you think that one's the lie?
That's as soon as I heard it, like if you watch the tape back, I just made a face. I also think that one is a lie. I'm gonna lock it. I'm gonna say
he's
that
gonna
one
get
is
us
the lie.
again.
It was the Rush.
Yes!
Rush was the lie. Koala's fingerprints are
I heard
indistinguishable
that
down
before.
to microscopic levels of humans, which means if you commit a crime, have a koala there. And 2, Russia's.
But they don't have 5 fingers, do they?
No, it's just the finger. So if you took your fingerprint and went like this, and took a koala fingerprint and went like that, it would look like
you'd have 2 different sets of fingerprints.
Yeah. Now, if you put your whole hand down, they would have more. But yes, the koala one is true, as well as I thought the Russia having the same surface area as Pluto was kind of wild.
Yeah.
They took it away for being too small, and Russia's huge.
Yeah.
It's like
So-
1/5 of the whole world.
Now, I'll tell you
It's
what's
crazy because Alaska's huge too. Yep.
That's what. And like they're like where they're like right next to each other. It still kind of doesn't make sense to me how Alaska ended up being ours.
Because they don't. It doesn't touch.
I know they don't touch.
Why wouldn't it be Canada's?
Yeah.
Oh,
That
because
would
of
make
the
more
money.
sense.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you were
Um,
saying.
Bread,
Dollar
and they want
bills,
nothing
y'all-
to do with
all-
getting it back.
All that oil that we're just leaving up there that we could use, but instead we're like, no, we're paying the Saudis.
Well, you know who should be getting paid is the kid that went absolutely ham his freshman and sophomore year at Eastern Kentucky, was about to have a record-breaking year again before suffering an injury. But guess what? Injury don't mean shit because he came back. He's better than ever. He's winning with the Paints, the one and only Brock Blandon. What's going on, my man? Hey, we're doing great over here. How is playing with the Paints this year, man? I know it has to be a lifelong dream for you.
Yeah, man. It's been a fun atmosphere to be local again and play the game you love in front of all the local people. But not only that, just be out there and play in front of the amount of fans that come out each and every game out there. It's been a pretty good experience.
Hell yeah. And now, so you're coming in as a closer, correct? Is that the same thing you're doing at Eastern Kentucky, or you were a starter there and then a closer for the Paints?
No, it's kind of the same role down at school. It's more the middle relief in the game type deal. So it's just kind of getting on pace and back on track to get ready for fall ball when we get down there on campus again. So just getting the work in and trying to develop that way.
Hell yeah. Now, you guys are looking pretty good. You're in first place. You got Lafayette coming up here. What's the mindset for you guys going into this second half of the season? Because, 2 championships in a row, that standard's going to be there for the fans. I'm sure you guys got to be feeling it yourself. So what's the vibe like in the clubhouse for you guys?
Yeah, so it's a pretty good atmosphere right now. We clinched that first round home game for the playoffs like we paid it. Like you said, the goal is to three-peat this year. It's never been done. And so we're going out there to try to win the championship and just kind of give it our best, if that makes sense. We have a kind of a tough stretch this upcoming week. We'll play one of the best teams in the league this week in Illinois. And then we kind of end out the season in their race stretch with one more away game at Champion City. So it should be a pretty good schedule. So we're looking to play our best baseball right now. We've been hitting it really well, and our arms have been stepping up as well, too. So it should be pretty fun, and I hope to make a good run again.
Now, that's what you say that your arms are throwing pretty well. I think that's been kind of a staple for you guys this year is you guys have had pretty good, consistent pitching. Is there anything you guys can attest to that? Is it coaching? Is it just being around good guys? My thought on the matter of before talking to you was when you're just around other elite players, it just brings the best out of you because you're like, this guy's my buddy, but I also still want to be better than him and vice versa. So is there a little bit of that going on, or what has been the difference this year in your guys' pitching?
Yeah, so I would say it's not so much on the competing aspect of it. I think everyone has the same mindset to just go out there and give it their best. Summer ball is all about trying to get those innings that you maybe not got in college, but at the same time, you're trying to develop, work on your craft and get better. But I just feel like everybody has that mindset of just going out there and we're trying to compete to win every single game that we can. So I feel like that's been the mindset this year. So everybody goes out there and just, does what they can, but also, if they don't do their job, they know that we have their back every time.
Hell yeah.
So it's just that kind of mindset.
Now, mindset is something big and you need to have going through what you've been going through, I was trying to look. Was it your first game? You come out, you hurt your knee at Eastern Kentucky. You have to go through rehab, which everyone knows is absolutely terrible. No one likes to go through it. And then on top of that, you get to come back to the paints, go through all that, and then you finally get to come out. And I know you love Eastern Kentucky and everything they've done for you, but it had to kind of feel a little special to come back from that kind of injury in front of your home crowd. I know your parents were probably there, a lot of supporters. So kind of talk to us about, your injury, the rehab, and then what it felt like to come back out and put on that Paints uniform after that long, grueling process.
Yeah, so actually it was the 5th game of the season for me throwing-wise, my 5th appearance. I went out there and we were playing Tennessee, and I had 2 outs, bases loaded, and a 3-2 count to be exact. Remember it plain as day. I threw a sinker inside at 92, and their 5-hole that got drafted in the first year hit it back at me at 111 right in the fibula and just dropped me straight to the ground, man. It was crazy. It happened so fast, it was kind of surreal. All the adrenaline rush. I ran over to first base, got the out, and then it's like,
Let's
man,
go.
As soon as I stopped running,
take
dude,
care of business. Don't matter if we hurt.
Yeah, but it was like as soon as you stop running, man, all the adrenaline's gone. It's like, wow, I really can't feel my leg. Like it's like I can't really walk on it. And so, we're just sitting there, and the trainer comes over, and I got to get helped off the field. I'm like, man, this is the first time I've ever felt like, I can't do anything about this. And so it was kind of deceiving and discouraging at the point to where it was like, man, like, am I going to be out the rest of the season? What am I going to do? And so I gave it a few weeks. It started to get a little bit better. So I actually taped it up and took about 8 ibuprofen one game to try to suffer through the injury, because I was just like, man, like, I really don't want to be out the rest of the year. I went out there and threw about 3 pitches, and I was like, dude, this is so brutal. I can't even do it. So I went and got an x-ray the next day, and sure enough, it was cracked. So I broke my fibula. And then 8 weeks of rehab in a boot and rehab total. So it was about a 10 to 12 week total process.
Damn.
And season ending. And dude, it was just brutal. So, kind of like piggying back on what you said, being out there the first time for the Paints throwing again, man, it was surreal, because like you said, being a local guy, man, you don't get to do that all the time, and playing for a team you dream of growing up and just going to games all the time. It was surreal. And not only that, it was just, it felt good to be back out there again, kind of getting over the injury point. And what was crazy, what really did it for me, was the very first hit back was right at me again. So it was kind of like, wow.
You have to have that kind of deja vu too. It's like, damn, again, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It was just, it was crazy, but I was glad I kind of had it. It just kind of settled me back in. It was like, man, like, we're good to go now. Like, let's back doing what I do best.
Now, through that process, I mean, you come back, you bounce back, you're as good as you were. I mean, your sophomore year, a 4.5 ERA, 29 strikeouts, 3-1. I mean, you're doing amazing. But through those 8 to 10 weeks, man, there had to be times where you're sitting there, you're thinking like, man, like, am I ever going to come back? Am I going to be as good as I was?
So let me ask though,
yeah.
Was there like ligament damage or anything like that? Because if it was just like a nice
fracture, just straight. Yeah, just straight crack.
See, you do benefit from that because bone. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're 30 or 130. It's 6 to 8 weeks. You got lucky though. There's a lot of pitchers when you come off, and even when you run to first base, that's usually when you get the ligament.
Well, he's got that dog
damage.
in him, so you don't have to worry about it.
So you got the out, and you didn't really have to pay for it, which is good. But again, when you get out of that boot, your leg's half the size. I know what that's like.
Yeah. Did you like look down? You're like, man, am I ever going to be the same? Like, who are some people kind of in your corner that you really leaned on to get through those 10 hard weeks?
I would say my parents, but also just like kind of my really close teammates down there. It it was really devastating, like you said, to kind of get through it, the 10 weeks, man. When you're sitting there in the dugout, you're watching all the games, and you're like, man, I could really help the team out right now, but you can't do a single thing about it. So the mindset that I kind of went about it was I just kind of I don't mean this in a bad way, but I went to the weight room and kind of did things I wasn't to do that way. As soon as I was out of the boot, man, my chances of being play were like right now, but unfortunately it just didn't work out because, you know, we didn't make the run in the off season or the postseason like we had planned. And then the time frame just didn't really work out. But I would mostly say, you know, my teammates that I'm really close with and my parents, man.
Hell yeah. Now, we'll get off the injury. Do you have another question for that? Or?
Oh, not about the injury.
I was about to say, yeah, we'll get off the injury, get off the sad step. I have to ask, immediately as you said Tennessee, I mean, we'll all say, like, being from Bainbridge, you know, super small. If people go to college, normally it's not Eastern Kentucky Division I. Is there ever times, like, you're out there? I mean, Tennessee won the College World Series this year. Like, are you ever out there like, damn, I'm really out here doing it? Or is it just like, man, this child, like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
And who was the dude you got the last out on? You said he was drafted 5th round? Or?
Billy Amick. He transferred from Clemson. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you said that so fast.
Crazy,
like,
man.
yeah, I don't think about that like every day, like, or anything. But
yeah,
man,
it was.
Sorry, was
it was crazy. It was just crazy to see him get drafted, and after ending my season.
Right.
You know.
Glad you got some icing on your cake.
Yeah, I'm glad you had a good year, buddy. Like, but yeah, man, what's it like whenever you're out there just wheeling and dealing against these guys, man? I mean, I could not. The only time I went up against Division I athletes was when in high school, and they kicked my ass every time. So I can't even imagine.
I almost got dunked on by an NBA player. That's a highlight.
You know, I would say to put it in perspective, Clay, you know, coming from our school where we're used to 120 max at a high school baseball game.
Yeah.
And my first college outing, making my debut as a true freshman in front of 5,000 people in Mercer and Macon, Georgia, dude. It was just like, it's almost like your heart's beating so fast, but you have no time to just look around. But once I took a deep breath and I like looked around before I threw my first pitch, it was like, dude, like, this is insane. Like, this is what I've dreamed of my whole life. But then you know, you get the perspective when you're sitting around a stadium and you see it with your own eyes, but when you're actually out there and you see it, it's like, wow, man.
Yeah.
But this year, I would say open up at Auburn. When we opened up at Auburn, man, it was probably the most electric atmosphere I think I've ever been a part of. It was just insane. You know, seeing 5,800 people there night. We're making barstool for guys taking Zins in the bullpen. Like it's just like it's like, are you serious? This stuff you see all over ESPN and like Instagram, and like it's like right in front of your fan. It was just crazy stuff like that.
I can't imagine walking out of Auburn and just because SEC baseball, man, and you got to experience it single-handedly. I feel like it's just different. I mean, we got to see with Tennessee this year. I mean, 5,000 people to be at an Auburn baseball game. Like, you don't see that up here as much. And really, you haven't skipped a beat, man. I mean, you go 3-1 as a freshman, 3-1 again as a sophomore. You know, the transition from high school to college. You know, you talk about coming from a small school of maybe 120, and that's if everybody's parents, grandparents, and cousins come out that are on the team to watch the game. So now you're thrown in front of 5,000 people that you don't know any of them at all. But did the game itself still kind of come natural? Because I remember watching you in high school, and I was like, I mean, these kids are here, and Brock was like here. Like, it was almost like playing with his food kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun to watch. And then watching you, he said, yeah, I fucking was, man.
I love the playing with the food thing.
Yeah. But then, you know, you go into college, man. I feel like you haven't really missed a beat up until your leg injury. So kind of talk to us about that. What was that transition like finally going into college?
Yeah, man. So I would say the biggest transition would be just adapting to everybody's play style. But not only that, like realizing like, hey, man, from being from a small school, like you go from being like the top dog to where everyone around you, man, is just as good as you, if not better.
Yeah.
So for me, like my mindset going into it was, I want to surround myself with the best. So freshman year, I would say I kind of leaned on the upperclassmen's shoulders, kind of like everybody does come high school a little bit. But the guy that I leaned towards the most ended up getting drafted my freshman year to the Yankees. And so it was just like, man, like, you learn so much being around guys and you surround yourself with like that. And I feel like that was the biggest transition for me, was just to pick up the little pieces. He's been there, 3 years before I had been there. So it was like, a small school, like, here's what they expect. Like, this is what you got to do to get time in. And I felt like I had one goal in mind. And my goal freshman year was no red shirt. Like, I want to go out there. I want to play as a freshman. Like, man, this is the only option that I get. Like, I'm not, my goal is to not red shirt. Like, I want to go out there and make an impact as a true freshman. And so when my coach, after the exit meeting before the winter says, hey man, like, you come back here in your first bullpen, you hit a 9, like a 90, that's all I need to see. And man, I made sure I hit it, man. So like, it was just like, that's what I ordered, and kept my head on a swivel the whole time, knowing that, man, if I don't get this, like, it'll be, but this is my team and this is what I want to do. So that was the mindset that I went about it. And I feel like that, keeping that mindset, always knowing that there's always something you can improve on.
Hell yeah.
It should help me, I guess, kind of where you say not beat, if that makes sense. It just improves my craft each and every time I can.
And I feel like, this is my last question for you before I throw it to the guys here, but like, I've known you since you were a little kid, and baseball has literally been this kid's life. I mean, on constant teams, traveling everywhere like that. And I feel like everybody always says what you put into something is what you get out of it. And you can see that in you and just the way that you play. I mean, you have some pitchers and some hitters that go up there, they get the outs, then they walk off the field, whatever. That kudos for them. But I admire somebody like you because it's exactly how I feel like I would be if I was blessed to be in that situation. I mean, you see the fire, you see the passion. Like, you get a big out, man, and you'll explode off of the mound, screaming, hooting and hollering. And I mean that in a good way. Like, is that from you just like working your ass off your entire life to be where you're at? And you look like the epitome of it, just enjoying the moment and where you're at.
Yeah, I would say it all told back to one thing. It's about all the work you come in and you finally seen it pay off. It's how I describe it. It's like, dude, I've dreamed of a moment where there's bases loaded and it's a 3-2 count to Tennessee's 4-hole and I get a big K. Dude, of course I'm going ballistic. Like,
yes!
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I'm a guy that I play with a lot of heart and passion. So dude, I'm going to show as much emotion as possible because sometimes it hurts me not only to see some of my teammates, they'll get a big out in like a jam or something and I'll just be like, yeah, man, like, let's go. And I'm like, dude, like, you just got out of a jam what's loaded where you give up a hit, we're down 2 runs, man. It's like, come on now, you got to be able to do something. And I just feel like that's what I kind of carry myself on the field too. It's like, care what these guys think, man. I'm going out there and I'm going to do what I do best. And as soon as I get the results that I expect or that I want, I guess I should expect that I want. That's just, I let it eat after that.
Never fucking change, man. It is awesome. I love watching the way you play and the way you carry about your business. And I am a firm believer, especially in baseball, if you strike a guy out, he better fucking know that it was you that struck him out. Tony, I know Tony had a question or two for you.
I think my question is, I want a little inside scoop on, like, I find it so interesting with, like, the Paints players and stuff, how, I've kind of been keeping track of them for 3 to 4 years now, and you see a couple of guys return. You see a guy like Tim Moore come back this year and join you guys a little bit later on. What's that selection process like? When you're going through your summer, you're making your plans, are you wanting to come back to that same team? Or are you trying to go higher? It's not you specifically, but how do they get these guys together? And what's it like that first day when you roll in and just be like, where are you from? Cumberland? Where are you from?
Yeah, so it's a unique process, man. I would say, for example, I'll give you a guy. One of my growing up playing baseball was on the Paints this year. Starter, actually, the lights out this year. Garrett Hessel. He's been there, lefty starter, man. Me and Garrett grew up together, played summer ball, travel ball together, all that good stuff. And it was just to the point where, you know, you're doing this to better yourself, but not only that, like you're trying to, like you said, get to the next level. And so what I mean by that is, for a prime example, he just got a call from the Cape Cod League 2 or 3 days ago, which is the highest summer league that you can get.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, hey man, like I want to go there. Like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And so that's something that I would say that I'm trying to do myself. Like, I'm playing here to get my innings, to better my craft. But if I get an opportunity like that too, you know, like that's something, man, like you got to take. You're playing in front of MLB scouts every single game, you know, and you're out there, you're around the best players in the world. And it's just something that you can't picture without doing it. You know what I mean? And so I would say that that's everybody's goal. But like a prime example is, we do have some guys like Tim and some other guys that have been there for a couple years that just love paint baseball. You know what I mean? Like, this is the atmosphere they love to play in. He's a good dude. He actually won't be playing with us the rest of he actually is done. I'm not sure exactly the reason why, but
that stinks.
Yeah, man.
He was
But
just a
like
hard
guys
player.
like
I
him,
like the way
though.
he played.
But yeah, I would just say though, like guys like him and a couple of guys that have been around there for a few years, they just enjoy it. You know, they get asked back to come or asked to come back and play, and I would say that you can't beat the atmosphere there or all that good
I'm
stuff.
sorry, I
So-
couldn't let that one go. I was like, of all words to get backwards, I was like, that was a great one. Don't worry, Brock. That's the Bainbridge comes out on us, and sometimes.
But that atmosphere really is electric.
That's
like,
right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what sold me on it. I haven't been able to get out as much with my, obviously having my son and things like that, but we bring him out, but I don't get to stay to the late innings. But I got a chance for a whole season to sit in that place right behind third base that's almost eye level to the field. And I'm telling you now,
Death's Triangle.
I have never had a better baseball experience in my life. It's dangerous. My friend literally broke.
Death's Triangle.
But it was like, it was so amazing. And that year, it was just, it's so nice to be able to talk to the players. You start realizing the guys that run over Santrell Farmer comes over and he made sure to give balls to kids and stuff. That environment there, when I moved here from Philly, I'm like, what is this, the 13th grade baseball? Like, get out of here. I'm not going to do a minor league. It is so freaking awesome. And to watch players get drafted from there, they've had like 13 in the past 5 years to prove me wrong, and then win 2 chips right in front of my eyes. I've got
going for a third.
I've got the replica rings to prove it. But that being said, I love that what you guys are doing, and I'll be raising hell to get you guys to the next one.
Brock, I know Adam had a question here for you.
Just being a Paint Valley guy, I gotta ask: do you have one core moment, or I guess one thing that maybe has stuck with you over the years from Coach Combs that maybe instilled into you?
Yeah, so personally for me, I would say it would be the district championship game. I remember plain as day. We're actually out at the VA because that's the place to be, man.
It's the place to be. It is the place to be in Southern Ohio District Championship baseball, man. Ain't nothing like it. Sorry, I had to get that in there.
All good, man. I remember I had hit my pitch limit in the district semifinal game, and he was like, I know you're going to be kind of upset about this, but you're not able to throw this game. And you know what, Coach? Like, it's all right. Like, I got faith in our other guys. Like, we'll do it. And I remember going in the first couple innings, we weren't hitting the ball very well, and they had scored a couple runs, and us making that comeback and winning that game was just like probably one of my biggest highlights, just because we were the underdog in that game and we weren't expected to win. But being my senior year and having to miss out on the junior year that we were really probably would have won state in.
Not probably. That team was destined to win state. We talked with Coach Combs last week. That pitching rotation, I mean, you have two good pitchers. Sorry to cut you off, Brock, but you have 2 good pitchers in high school. You're going to make it to the regionals, maybe. You guys had Cruz McFadden, who also played for the Paints and was like is a stud right now at Mount Vernon, and the other one was help me, I can't remember his name right now. Trent Metler's older brother. Yes, Lane Metler, who went to Rio.
Lane.
Yeah, those guys were about to run through Ohio baseball. But yeah, you guys were definitely winning state that year.
Yeah, and that's for me. That's probably my highlight, just because like I said, with dog and coming back, and we had guys. Man, this is like one of the favorite moments of playing in high school. Right here was, I remember we were down 1 run, but we had runners on first and third with 1 out, and Connor Free was up the bat, and that man hadn't touched a baseball in probably 12 at bats, and man, he laced the ball down the left field line at the VA and scored 2 runs, dude, and the place just erupted. Like, it was incredible, and I'll never forget it. Ended up winning that game, and just had guys that stepped up. It was just, yeah.
I remember that game vividly, man. I was out there on the party deck watching, and like that game is just another epitome, man. Of I think, and you're here, and I couldn't talk with Combs last week because he's too humble of a guy. But when you look at coaches that just get their players to play in clutch moments, or I don't want to say like make adjustments, but just get their players to play. Coach Combs gets overlooked a lot. I mean, your guys' district championship game, comeback win. The two that I had, comeback wins. The other one that he had in 2009, comeback win. He just figures out a way whenever you guys are down, whether like it's making a pitching change in the 4th inning rather than the 5th.
Is it his mentality? Like,
I think
I'm seeing that as the coach, and he never breaks character because that's him. So
I think it's where his coaching, and with Brock being here, I'm sure you had classes with Combs, like literally baseball class. Like, in every single situation what should happen and where everyone on the field should be, because he just had a 2-hour class with you on Monday about where everyone should be and what should be happening. So I just feel like when it comes to Coach Combs, man, he just gets overlooked in clutchness. And we got to talk to him last week, man, glowing things to say about you, which obviously, there's a lot of great things to say about you, no bad things. So it's kind of cool to see Combs still have that relationship with his players outside of college. You hear from him a lot as you've been going on your baseball career?
Yeah, man. He's kind of that shoulder to lean on, too, if you're down in a dark place, if that makes sense. He's always that go-to guy where it's like –
he is the light.
Yeah. He's the guy that will pick you up when you're down, and I've texted him and appreciated and just, there was times where it was like I needed to ask him for some advice on baseball things. And dude, it was just like that, you know, it just came instantly, and he gave his best answer, and it helps out tremendously. And I feel like, that's the way he is today. Even if you see him out, it's always a casual talk and, hey, let's go to lunch type deal. So, it's a great dude, man.
Hell yeah. Now, Brock, before we get out of here, we have to ask the hard journalism questions for you. This is the part where everybody crumbles on our show. So, but I have faith in you, buddy. Number 1, you're down at EKU, right? This year, Tennessee comes to your place. You whip that ass after they win the College World Series. You go out there, throw a no-hitter, absolutely destroy them. Where are you going at down there to celebrate, to eat? Where's our favorite place to go down there?
All right, boys. So, big bar and grill guy down here. The best dry rub wings I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
Madison Garden.
Madison Garden.
Insane.
Okay. Put it on the list.
Now, are they like a crispy wing, like a grilled and fried and grilled?
Both.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, real quick question:
You
is
have
this
to.
building
The doc
in
does
like
it every now and then.
Is it in the shape of a square?
No, it's not. It is not.
I'll still try them out if I'm ever down there.
Okay, question number 2. This is going to be a hard one, seeing how you just said wings. Burgers, wings, pizza, start, bench, cut. What are you doing? Yeah, I told you. This is where people start to fold. That's a hard one.
Dude, a good pizza. I'm going to start pizza.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to bench wings, and I got to cut them. I've had too many out of the paint stadium this year. Got to.
Hey, I'll probably have the same exact list, so I'm right there on par with you. Brock, man, thank you for coming on. You honestly have been so much fun to watch. You are literally an encouragement to so many people from Paint Valley, saying it does not matter where you come from to get to where you want to go. The hard work, you put it in, it gets you there. Man, I'm so happy that I've got to watch you go from the little kid down in Paint Valley Little League to now you're just destroying people on the level that you are. It's been awesome, man, and we're really glad to have you back on our show.
Hey, guys, I appreciate you. Last thing I want to say is if you guys get a chance this upcoming week after we get home from this away trip, you guys got to come out.
Let's do it.
Come out Thursday, first playoff game. Love to see you guys out there.
Let's
do
it.
You know what I like? Beer. You know what I also like? Cheap.
You know what I like? Paint stuff. So we'll be there Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, Brock, the man, Blanton. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Next time he comes on, I'm asking him questions about you. I'm
about
just gonna
me?
be like, yeah, he remembers you when you were young. What do you remember of old Clay?
I was probably the best babysitter, but the worst babysitter compared to parents.
Exactly.
I was that babysitter's like, I was a good babysitter depending on who you asked.
You were like, don't die?
Yeah.
End of story?
If you bleed, clean it up. I'm not cleaning it up. But yeah, man, it's kind of crazy to watch just a kid from Bainbridge go out there and just absolutely be destroying. When he's like, yeah, I was throwing a 98-mile-per-hour ball inside against Tennessee. I just looked at you like, I just wish I could say that once in my life.
Well,
I didn't know he was 6'4". He just doesn't look 6'4" sitting down.
Yeah.
Me only being able to see his,
I didn't know he's 6'4". I always knew he was taller, but man, 6'4", that's a big-ass kid.
Yeah, that's 6 feet 4 inches. Big.
If you had to put a number on it.
Yeah. If you had to put 2 numbers on it, it'd be 6'4".
All right, let's get to our next segment.
Oh
here.
God!
Oh my God!
Jeez!
There's blood everywhere. Ouch! Let's get to our next segment. Adam, I want to start with you on this one. You actually were the person I've been thinking about.
Mariah Carey is gonna be my cut.
I thought she was gonna be president. Fantasy sleepers. Some kids that we haven't talked about. We've done some mock drafts between us here to see where we think some kids might land up. Who are some kids that we have not talked about yet this year that you think we're
The first one's a kid we've mentioned a lot. It's just I think he's going to be a sleeper because, is a new system. Is David Long. I think he's going to be kind of a sleeper.
Yeah.
Maybe get taken a little later, and he's going to help somebody out. My actual 2, 100% sleepers, I think Juan Miller from Chillicothe, I think he's going to be – because he's kind of like a super flex. He's going to step into that Aiden Rocky Jones.
I was about to say, I think that you would have to
flex,
label his position as super flex.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where he's going to go.
Injury happens, he could go into quarterback, running back, wide receiver. You just don't know. And then Nick Burns. So I want to say he had 7 touches last year for 220 yards. So, I mean,
pull it up. Keep going.
Dude did some great things on minimal touches. And I think that because he's a Hillsborough guy.
7 catches, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns on a running first team.
So you're telling me you got 7 touches and 4 of them were touchdowns?
Yeah.
That's over 50% clip. You know what I mean? So I think that Hillsborough, they're in a unique situation where I'll get into this later, but I think if they get into a situation where they have to pass and they have to get the ball out to Nick, I think he's going to do some explosive things.
I can agree with that. Yeah, I think that they're going to be a team that they're going to be looking to run first because that's like the name of their game. But I'm with you where if they get behind by a couple of touchdowns, they're trying to cut into the lead going into halftime. They have the guy to be able to catch it and air it out. Plus, Mason Dumper is a great quarterback over there as well.
And somebody else to kind of piggyback, it's kind of in the same situation to where like maybe Hillsborough will be on the other half. Jackson, a guy from Jackson, Eli Ray.
I had him on my list as well.
I think he's going to be a sleeper just because, like, I don't know how many times Jackson could come out and just do a little play-action bubble screen over there to him.
Yeah, and he could break it off.
Get Wolford some nice touches. Because I want to say he's a junior this year, so kind of get his confidence built for next year. So I think
and
him.
you kind of wonder if Jackson has a great running back coming back in Nolan Johnson. Like you said, we'll get to that in our next segment. But, you don't know if they're going to – I don't think they'll run as much as they did last year. I think you could see a little bit more passing out of Jackson. And I think Eli Ray is probably going to be their number 1 target if I had to guess going into the season.
Another guy, I just cannot not mention a guy from Vinton County, Lane Hayburn. So, again, he could have been one of the 18 seniors they lost last year.
Yeah.
But I did get confirmation that it was 18 seniors.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure he was an underclassman. So I think he's just in a team that's just looking to replace so much or just looking for that guy to be that guy. I think Hayburn will be an explosive back for
I can
Vinton
see
County.
that as well because, like you're saying, you're looking on someone to lean on. because I watched that Coach Games interview with Gridiron Glory where he's talking about we want to honor them from last year by putting in the work this year. I think the way you do that is you lean on somebody that was a big part of last year that's still on your team. I think Hayborn is that guy that you lean on that also can produce for you.
And that interview is a great interview because it also talks about not just losing the 18 seniors but also losing the coach of the year for the Gridiron Glory and TVC coach of the year, all while you're trying to go back to back.
Yeah,
and I think they can. But
I think so. I'll start out another guy. I would say we have talked about a little bit, but I do think that we could be talking about him more. I'll start in the SVC. I'm going to go with Wade Fout. 253 yards last year off of 28 catches. The big thing was for me going in was that
that's
stat-wise he had no touchdowns. Yeah. But I could have sworn
you loved announcing Wade Fouts.
Yes,
you just felt like
I swear I okay.
Well, I was about to say you could remember calling a touchdown for him, but also you were calling who was Blake Fitch cut right.
That's
so
true.
Like
so
it could have been Buddy Wilson catching a touchdown. You're like,
and Wade Fout. I just like saying Wade Fout.
Yeah, I'm telling you though, like he had a lot of big plays. He's like Aiden Dunn for me. Yeah. I feel like Aiden Dunn. He made the plays at the right times, whether it wasn't even at the wide receiver position.
I think Mason Thacker is still going to be their number one target, right? But with Brent McGuire coming out, Mason Thacker is the number 2 last year at 513 yards, 56 catches, and 3 touchdowns. As the number 2 out there.
I also just want to circle back to Nick Burns being 7 catches, 4 touchdowns on 200 yards.
Nick Burns, 7 catches, 4 touchdowns, 200 yards.
Yeah, it was like I want to say it was like 220.
Hillsborough.
So he had like 20 less catches than Fout and had about the same amount of yards. But again, completely different offenses.
Yeah. Another guy. I don't know if he'll be drafted or not, but I can see if he doesn't get drafted, he could be one of the first pickups in free agency. I'm moving with James Reinhart. I think, the backfield at Unioda.
That's out of Unioda, right?
Yes, the backfield at Unioda is a big question mark going into this year. We know he's going to be throwing the ball.
I don't know if it's a question mark. It might be an explanation point, just like it was last year, where they got so much
many
that it's kind of an explanation mark and a question mark at the same time.
I think James is going to be.
Yeah.
I think James is going to be the lead back of those. I have not talked to anybody.
I'm going off absolutely nothing.
I'm going off no stats, no talking to coach, just my gut feeling.
Like last year, he was the most dynamic back.
Yes.
Like you had the Ethan Sumner and dudes like that, but they were bruisers.
For me, I thought Dollison was their most, and he was more like linebacker.
And I'm going off of with him what you did with Hayburn. I think he's another guy that was in the backfield last year when they had all this success. That I think you could put him in there just because you have that confidence that, hey.
Maybe not 18 seniors removed, but like Unioda graduated a lot of seniors. I want to say it was like 10, 11.
Yeah. And then.
I just like the maybe not 18.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as.
I had Eli Ray that you
they
said.
They should have won that game.
So my last. One more before I get to my last one.
Never forget.
Mason Sparks out of Waverly. Coach Crabtree talked about him. I went to a 7-on-7 with Hillsborough, Waverly, and Adena, and Mason Sparks all fucking day. Mossing the shit out of people. Like,
my thing is, I had him last year, and that's who I was trying to remember when we were talking about wide receivers.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm pretty sure they had another guy. No, he was just a tight end.
But the thing with Mason is the thing that Unioda. You have Cody Swords out there who's going to get his touches. You have Mason Pollard who's going to get his touches. Cade Carroll, who's a junior, but he's going to probably take some touch away from Mason Sparks. But I'm telling you, like, as a player,
I wouldn't be surprised if Sparks was number 1 because he's like 6'6".
I was going to say, because as a player, I mean, the kid has it.
And Coach told us that he was getting more.
It when Colton Yoakum graduates, just call him the Colton Yoakums of this year. It's like a dude that plays football well.
The coach even said he was getting more snaps at wide receiver than just tight end, and I think bumping him out and he's going to be
watching that 7-on-7 made me take Cody Swords back and put Sparks up. You know, I don't know if I'd put Sparks over Swords just quite yet. I would like to see the season start, but talent-wise, that kid has
a lot. I think a lot of it's going to depend on offensive line. Weirdly enough, because if he's got enough time to look down the field, it's going to be Swords all day long.
Yes, exactly.
But if it's going to be, hey, I got a lot of pressure in my face, I need to get this ball out of my hands, it's going to be dump off passes.
Sparks,
it's going to be drag routes, and
Sparks doesn't. I literally didn't see the kid drop the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Like literally.
It's going to be like dump passes, just out routes, zigs, like just.
At the same time, you can have him, like you said, go on a go route, opposite sides of swords. You have one safety back there, whichever side he picks.
I want him running tight end routes at the wide receiver position.
Now, if they're running like Tampa 2s to where you have like the linebackers kind of, it depends on like if you're running the Tampa 2 like actual like zone coverage. If you're running something like that, a post route with Sparks right over the top, dude.
I'm just picturing like a big, nice Alshon Jeffrey type slot guy.
Yeah.
Cody Sort straight go routes.
Yeah.
You got a lot. Linebackers
Waverly, man, I feel like Waverly's going to be scary this year at the wide receiver room. But what the last ones I want to talk about, you brought up Juan Miller. I feel like the reason that he's going to be more of a flex player this year, Andrew Hammond, man, he's going to be a sophomore. I had him as a freshman. I forgot that he's actually a sophomore this year. Not a lot of varsity time, but
not a lot of yada.
Very accurate with the ball. You know what I mean? Yeah. What'd you say? Why?
I said not a lot of yada. It's
dude, when Brock literally said "come on the back," I could not. I
thought he said he meant to say back, asked back, but he said ass
back come or something like that. Yeah, it was
like he said ass backwards.
I was like, that's the Bainbridge coming out of you, buddy. But no, Andrew Hammond.
I'm glad he called our eye contact too, because it was just like
we didn't even like
turn our heads, but all of us were like.
It reminds me of like President Obama was giving a speech about this guy that like saved 4 of his platoon mates, and he said something like, you know, to where you like pause and you see the guy up there, the only one that survived, go. Like he's receiving a Purple Heart or something because he saved him, or it was something like to where it's like you don't laugh in the situation. He was like basically like come on her back, and he was like you just see him like smirk.
That's military dudes to the T. It's just like I understand humor
because you know like
I'm not allowed to have it right now.
If there isn't like an afterlife or whatever, you know those guys are like come on her back, whatever it was.
Last guy I'll talk about though that I think could be a sleeper in fantasy this year. I think he'll go late in the draft is Sean Smith because I think he was going to be a fucking problem last year.
It's the injury.
Gets an injury, you know. He's gotten injuries every year, but they've normally been minor. Last year was the first time it was major. But, senior year, you kind of tell those injuries to hit the back.
Yeah, that's when you lay it all out on the line and you work for the next 40, 50 years with knee problems and back problems because you said, I didn't come out when I should have. But it doesn't matter.
Like you're talking right to me right now.
It doesn't. No, I'm not. I'm just saying it doesn't matter.
What I literally went to the doctor like, hey, if you play football, your shoulder will be fucked for the rest of your life.
That's my favorite thing is like about watching Varsity Blues is because Bud Kilmer does it best. He's like, "Are you willing to die for absolutely no reason?" Which I love it because it's like, yeah, do it. Like you're gonna be working in the mines, you might as well die here tonight on Friday night.
Where we can lie and gore.
Why wonder if this is gonna be the problem of your life? Why not make it the problem of your life? Why not die with head contusions?
Tony, who are some guys we have talked about that are on your fantasy? I guess we'll say watch
radar.
List. Yeah, radar.
Well, I guess your sleepers.
Yeah,
you think are gonna be your sleepers.
One of them is Frankie Hirsch. He's only a sophomore. He's going to be taking over the quarterback role. When you hear somebody's name before they're really given that role yet, you got to pay a little bit of attention to him. And everything that I hear is, one, he's a great kid, multi-sport athlete, clearly has the right mindset for it. He's just got a lot of things going for him. I saw Gunner come out as a sophomore and do some pretty good things. So I think in the same breath, he has the opportunity to do some of that same stuff. I wanted to try to highlight some people, a little outside the SVC as well, and get a couple real sleepers in here. Logan Elliott is one of them.
From Hillsborough.
Yes. I just hold on. Let me pull up my
You just that? Yeah.
Well, it's different because I almost want to talk about him as a defender. That might help Hillsborough's defense as well.
If he's going to get interceptions and stuff like that, though.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah. Like, his field vision is amazing. His ability to go up and catch the ball. They say, I saw some highlights of him being at wide receiver. They call him a running back. I really just think they're misconstruing when he's playing linebacker and he's in the backfield 24/7.
Yeah.
He tackles linebackers. Like, this dude.
He plays running back. No,
dude,
he tackles.
He blows it up.
Yeah.
So when I'm sitting there, it's not necessarily an offensive sleeper, but I was a defensive guy, so I wanted to try to slide one of them in there. Dude, he's a unit. Like
Okay.
he's the type of dude that makes offensive linemen worse when they're on the defensive side if they're playing both sides. Like he's a menace. And I just, dude, the way he hits holes is perfect. I was very, very impressed. All that being
Hits
said,
him hard.
I'm trying my best. I can't. But so I wanted to give him a shout out because
absolutely destroys those holes over and over.
Dude, he just
over
fills
again.
them like nobody's business. All the defensive coordinators are satisfied. You know how it is.
Great set of hands on him. Real handsy fella.
Big hands. Any other guys?
For McLean, I'm going to go Owen Sykes.
I thought you were about to say 0-6. I said, me too,
like,
buddy.
Me too. What a bird.
What a segue into the
here in
next.
a second.
I was like, yeah, I mean, we want to get into it.
0-6 conference play. No.
So I think they might. I'll get to that later with McLean.
That is our next segment.
But with him, he's very similar to the Sparks kid.
Yeah.
He has played some tight end. He's coming to the outside. He's going to make a massive difference this year. I can't go too much. I'm trying to keep away from my McLean talk because it's.
Well, okay, so let's do it because McLean's the first team that we'll talk
anyways.
about. Division 4, Region 16. They went 6-5 last year, but they lost a lot. They lost their quarterback,
Andrew
their starting
Potts
running
was
back,
huge.
and they lost their starting wide receiver.
Andrew Potts had the coolest boom. He would stop right in place and cut.
And then they
great,
lose Max
great player.
Eisenberry as their wide receiver, and then I cannot remember the quarterback's name right now, but they
Was it Penwell? Or Spawn?
Oh no, I think Eisenberry was the quarterback. In
They lost Kate. I know
Penwell
they lost
was in the
Caden
backfield.
Penwell. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so they go last year 6-5. They went in the non-conference 3-1, beating Adena, Northwest, Paint Valley, in East Clinton, and then they had Cincinnati Hills Academy.
They beat Paint Valley?
Oh no, sorry, they lost to Paint Valley.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. The Paint Valley was the only
that's
loss.
the battle of what, like
Battle of 48.
48.
Or 41. Sorry,
41. I was going to say, it's definitely I didn't think it was. I thought it was 36, but yeah, 41 is pretty.
They that was their only loss outside of conference play. Getting to conference play, first game, Miami Trace lost by 9. Beat Chillicothe by 3. Went on a 2-game losing streak with Washington Jackson. And then beat Hillsborough to end the year, and then lost to Taft 39-7. Again, they're losing a lot. But they open up.
And I think they're going to lose a lot this upcoming season.
Yeah, they're opening up the season like they did last year. Adena, Northwest, Paint Valley, East Clinton. But they'll throw Williamsburg in there as their last non-conference game. And then when they start the conference, they must have pissed somebody off because they start with Jackson and then Miami Trace. Have Chillicothe in there and then end with Washington and Hillsborough.
I could see them going 3-8 to 4-7.
I think
the biggest question mark is the quarterback.
I'll say
3-7
go with you,
to
Tony,
4-6.
because you're about to go with some McLean stuff there with your Owen Sykes take.
The biggest question mark for Owen Sykes, who I think is a great player, is going to be the quarterback position. They have a guy that I think is going to be the quarterback, and his name is Cohen Six. If your last name's Six, I think you're destined to get some TDs, bud.
Yeah, but it also sounds like your name is like Owen Six. That's kind of what that name sounded like.
It's not happening. And you know what? I'm so pro McLean now. It's ridiculous after you two shit talkers. You don't even know them.
I don't.
They have a guy.
Clay's such a bad alumni that he didn't even know that the trophy was the Battle of 41.
I never got to play for it.
I know you were more
Sucks.
of a just winning 12 Maple Leafs a year.
Yeah, dude, the Maple. Yeah.
They've got a guy named Riley Cummins. He's also a good player. He's coming
What's
back
he doing?
this year as a
He's
senior.
He's coming back on back. All right.
What's his position?
He's running back, right?
Yeah. So he's going to be coming in holes.
Dude, I'm telling you, we can make as many jokes as possible, but there's a lot of juniors there that are ready to make the next step, and sometimes the seniors that are in front of you.
All right, so let's go through this. I'm just going to go through their schedule this year. You guys say win or lose. All right, Adena, I think they win.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, like I said, I think they're going to finish right about 4-6.
4-6. What about you, Tony?
That's
because I think that the only game they
what
lose,
do I got to do? Have extreme faith. 6-4.
I think they beat Adena, Northwest, lose to Paint Valley, beat East Clinton, and then beat Williamsburg. Okay.
See, I could see him going 2. I could see him going
2-3
in that first 5 or 3-2.
I'll go. They'll beat Adena, Northwest, and then they'll lose to Paint Valley, and I think they'll lose one of the 2 with East Clinton and Williamsburg. I don't know which one.
I think they beat Jackson and go 6-4.
Yeah, no, I don't think they
beat Jackson. They're going way better than 6-4.
Yeah, they're going to lose to Jackson and Miami Trace. That Chillicothe game, honest to God, I think they lose that one too. I'm sorry, McLean. I don't know if they win. I don't know if they win a conference game this year. To be completely honest
I mean, I could see them beating
maybe
Chillicothe,
maybe
Hillsboro.
That Hillsboro, I don't know. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that would give them 1, 2. I have them going 3-7.
Yeah, that's what So the first I could see them winning
4-6, but I'm going 5-5.
2, and then they drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row.
Yeah. I just don't think they win in the conference.
I think they drop 7 in a row, and then they end on a win.
You think they beat Hillsboro at the
end? I think
okay.
they end on a win.
So let's get on to our next team here that is right there, I would say, in the same group as McLean this year. We're going to Washington Courthouse, Division 4, Region 16. So they're in the same division.
Yeah, I'm going to be Tony on this one.
Okay.
I'm going the opposite.
Last year, they went 5-6. They came out of the gates. They played London first, so that went as you expect.
They also played London first this year.
Yeah, and then they won 3 in a row and then lost to Monroe, a 2-8 team. Damn, that's not good. So they go into conference play.
But it was a
3-2.
Division 3. That's what I always look at. It's a Division 3.
So
that right there, Jackson is in that division. So that's a good one.
Then they go and they lose to Jackson Hillsboro first 2 games of the conference. Beat McLean and Chillicothe, and then end the year on a 1 touchdown loss to Miami Trace, and then lose to Wyoming 42-0.
Why the hell are they playing to college?
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, where are we going all the way to
Isn't
Wyoming?
that where Josh Allen went? Damn it.
This year, schedule looks bit different. Actually, no. Yeah, a bit different. Same 2 first games, opening up with at London, then have Western Brown at home. Franklin, Granville, and Monroe, though, I think that's going to be 3 straight losses. That Chillicothe game, I think it's going to be a close one. I'm actually going to give the edge, though, to Chillicothe. I think Chillicothe can squeak that one out. I think they'll lose to Jackson and Hillsboro, but they'll beat McLean, then they'll lose to Miami Trace. So that has me giving them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think they go 5-5. I think they're a 500 team, close to what they were last year.
So I'm excited about this Washington Courthouse team because
yes.
So I know they lost one Hathcock, right?
So I should sit here and shit on him the whole time while he talks.
Pretty
Is
much.
That what I should do.
Well, you gotta wait until I'm done talking first.
It's like Jesus Christ! I couldn't even say a word.
Yeah, so London, I think, is just like that's. They have a hard a hard schedule, and it doesn't get any easier. But I think they can win one of the 3. So they lose to London, and I think they beat Western Brown, and I think they win one of the 3, whether it's Franklin,
Granville, Monroe after that.
Yeah, I feel like they can win one of those. I feel like they beat Chillicothe, lose to Jackson, beat Hillsboro, McLean, and have a chance to beat Miami Trace.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're high on
I don't
Courthouse
think they
this year.
do, but I think they have a chance to.
I think the loss of Aiden Rocky Jones completely plummeted it.
I think that they'll finish 3rd in the league, is what I have them
3rd in the league? Wow, that's high. Yeah. That is very high for the Blue Lions. Tony.
How do they do that with McLean being there?
Yeah, I
have McLean at number, 6?
Yeah, because that's how many. Yeah,
4, 5, 6. I have them at number 6. Personally.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have Courthouse at 5.
Yeah.
I'm similar with that. I wasn't. Is Isaiah Hathcock still there? Do you guys remember?
No, he graduated.
I think it's his younger.
Yeah,
that kid took over.
Dude, I want to say it's his younger brother, maybe a cousin that's there though.
Yeah, I don't know if it's brother or cousin, but yeah, there is another.
It's another Hathcock. I think I want to say it's like Eli or Isaiah or.
And as we go through, these things, the younger brothers in today's sports world.
Noah Hathcock.
Okay,
yeah. The guy we're about to come on, his older brother's playing for Campbell. You know what I mean? So
which I just learned this week is a Division I school. Did not know that.
Campbell Camels.
No way.
Yeah, it is.
The Campbell Camels.
They're the Camels.
Dude, I think his older brother.
That is fucking awesome.
I think his older brother makes merch for them too.
That's insane.
Yeah.
The Campbell Camels.
We had a guy on that place that is going there. Ash Nallman.
What do you think they're finishing in the league, Courthouse? Like record wise, I think they finished 5-5. I think they finished 5th in the league.
3-7.
3-7. Okay.
I got 6-4 and 7-3. The 7-3 is if they do pull off.
Somebody's got to go lower.
Trace.
It's not that I don't like him, but it's like if McLean's going to rise,
honestly,
to the top.
I'm going to change. I'm going to go to 4-6. I think they lose more conference games than I'm thinking. Actually, I think going into this next game, I'm surprised to hear what you've been saying about them. I thought you would be a little bit higher on, again, off of nothing. This is just my guess. But we will talk about Hillsboro. They went 5-6 last year, but I would say it was a loud 5-6.
See, I thought it was more of a quiet 5-6.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I thought that they did worse than what they did, and when I saw them. So, like, I will say with these guys, I have them finishing, fourth? Yeah.
So this is who I actually have finishing third. Just off of that run game, I think this year they open up with Western Brown. And then Goshen, which last year they lose to Western Brown, beat Goshen. I think that could be more of the same this year. Damn. Just accidentally exited out of that. Didn't mean to, so we're going to have to open this up real quick.
The first thing I said about Hillsboro is I think these guys have the potential to prove me wrong, but I think that they're going to have, they're going to be a great first half team. So, they'll dominate with a run offense.
I'll give you that.
There are going to be weeks when it's going to struggle to get it started to where they'll end and be like, oh, they had a lot of rushing stats, but it's like, yeah, they had to fight for every single yard. Whereas I feel like other weeks when it is good, it's going to be good in the first 3 quarters, and then that fourth quarter they're going to be maybe down a little bit and maybe have to start passing. And
because they have Portsmouth, West Williamsburg, and East Clinton.
Their biggest downfall last year was turnovers.
Yes.
So it's like you're talking about the Chillicothe game is a perfect example. They turned the ball over 3 times. If it wasn't for Jevin Hawks, is it Jevin? Is that
Jevin Hawksell? Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm with you on that as well, and I think what you're saying too is man, if they get down,
if they clean it up though, if they can clean up those turnovers, they won't be as down.
Like I
in
said,
the fourth quarter, if they don't turn them up.
I have them going 4-6 or 5-5. They end with 6 losses because I think they make the playoffs if they go 5-5. But they have the potential to go a 6-4 or a 7-3. I just think it's going to cap at 5-5.
I'm trying to figure out. Let's see.
Dude, the Hoxtall kid at running back, he's completely different than Austin Barrett, but the kid runs a 4.6 40 already. He's out there working his ass off. I think it's going to be big from him.
I have them going 6-4. I think the way that I have this looking right now, they would be third, but I think they could be tied with Chillicothe. I want to make sure I'm looking at their schedule, make sure I have them the same. They could be tied with Chillicothe, I think, at tied for third, tied for fourth in the league. But I do think they go 6-4. I think they open up. Dude, Western Brown is a good football team.
Downtown Western Brown.
For me, I feel like for sure they're going to – you say Western Brown is a good football team?
Yeah, I think they're going to lose to Western Brown. I think they beat Goshen. Portsmouth West.
I think so. I thought that – I didn't know much about Western Brown, but I think that they for sure beat Goshen. They beat McLean.
Yeah.
And I think they might get East Clinton.
Portsmouth West had a great team last year, but I don't know what their team looks like this year.
Well, for me, it's like Portsmouth West.
Yeah.
They're right there with actual Portsmouth itself.
I think they can squeak that one out. If they lost that one, I wouldn't be surprised, but I would be surprised if they lost to Williamsburg and East Clinton, even though last year, let me take a double. Yeah. Last year they did lose to Williamsburg by quite a bit, but I'm pretty sure I heard that Williamsburg lost a lot. They lost last year, 57-27.
Yeah, so I think that they lose to.
Last year they went 5-6.
Yeah, I think right about the same or just under what they did. But
yeah, I think it could be that. I think it could be flipped though, where they go 6-5, or I guess technically a 5-5, because that 6th loss was in the playoffs.
So that's why I think Courthouse just edges them out, and that's what essentially will make them 5-5 or 4-6 to give Washington Courthouse the 6-4, the opposite.
We'll go on to a team that I think I'm probably too high on. I kind of want you guys to talk me down a little bit.
Homer. I probably got him 5th.
Yeah, Chillicothe.
I in fact
last year, man, 1-9, but a brutal non-league schedule. Opened up with St. Charles, lost that one 21-18, so that was close. Lost to London game 2, 21-0. I don't think that's bad.
You know what that schedule reminds me of a lot? It reminds me a lot of Vinton County back in the day. So when I was there, we would play Jackson, beat the shit out of us. We played Bloom Carroll, and they had like a Division I lineman on their team. And then I want to say like
we had Uniota too, so that would be your opening week.
They were in the same boat as us. They were stuck in like they're like, hey, if we get 2 wins, one of them's Vinton County. And if we were like, if we get 2 wins, one of them's Uniota. Like,
and then they beat Logan, who is a Division II school last year.
Now, the only reason Logan's Division II is much like Vinton County, they are the only school in Hocking.
Yeah.
They're kind of buns.
And then, so they lost to Hillsborough in overtime 23-17. They lost.
It was so well done.
Buns. Yeah. Perfect. They lose to McLean.
Kind of like a rival.
20-17. Blown out by Miami Trace. Only lost to Courthouse by 2 touchdowns, 13-0. Blown out by Jackson. If we look at their schedule this year, I feel like it's a little bit more, in their wheelhouse. So they open up with Bloom Carroll.
L. That's an L. Hard
Bloom
L.
Carroll is running like a well-oiled machine. Yeah. Actually, Coach Bartholomew's son is the head coach there.
I pretty much learned if I don't understand your name, you're good at football in Ohio.
Yeah, Bloom Carroll.
If you got 2 names a lot of times.
Bloom Carroll punted.
We couldn't even say Purcell Marion right until the end of the game.
Literally the last minute.
I can't remember who, but doing my research, I saw a team that plays one of these guys opens up with Purcell Marion. I was like, you lucky sons of bitches.
But I think they opened up 0-2. Actually,
I think they opened up 0-3.
Yeah,
for sure.
Portsmouth West, I do think that they can squeeze a win out there. I think they squeeze a win out with Wilmington. I definitely think they beat Washington.
Is that Washington Courthouse?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I think that their first will –
especially being at home.
Dude, can we also realize that the Chillicothe game for most of these schools is going to decide really where that middle pack is?
Well, and you got to think, too, last year they think that they have a Division I recruit on their team. That's why I don't think they scheduled those games to win. I think they scheduled him for the exposure. I feel like and then when he leaves, it's going to be –
They still scheduled almost – no, I don't want to say identical to last year, but they scheduled a lot like that, and it's like they still didn't get that Division I guy. But I feel like they just know more of who their guys are going to be.
That's what I think. I think that they more –
I just don't think it matters.
Like you said, they know more of what they're going to be as a football team. We don't know what Wad Miller's going to do, but they do. Yeah. And I think – I'm telling you, I think Andrew Hammond can be the X factor this year of making them go from 1-9. I'm not saying they're going to flip the script and have –
What's he play?
For me, he's going to be their quarterback.
Okay. I don't think they get a win outside of Wilmington.
Outside of Wilmington for the before.
No, like I think they might.
Oh, you think they go 1-9 again?
No, I think they go 2-8 because I think they get that McLean win.
Okay. I mean, fair assumption. I think in conference they lose to Miami Trace, they lose to Jackson, and you can flip a coin on the Hillsborough one because they only lost by 3 last year.
I agree with that.
So that's why I have them and Hillsborough could possibly be tied for 3rd and 4th, finishing out.
Is that the Hammond that lives in my neighborhood?
Yeah.
Chillicothe is going to the state championship this year. You heard it here first.
Let's talk about a team I think could be the favorite to win the league this year. Let's talk about Miami Trace. They go 7-5 last year. They opened up with a big win over Waverly, 27-26. It went literally down to the wire. Then a hard loss to Wilmington by 3. A loss to a good Logan Elm team, and then they go on a tear. They beat Bethel Tate, Western Brown, and McLean all pretty handily. Lose to Jackson, but then blow out Chillicothe. Lose to Hillsborough by 1. That was a great game. Hillsborough and Miami Trace always play each other close. They beat Washington by a touchdown. Then a 9-2 Hamilton Township team. They beat them 55-34 first round of the playoffs. On the road, and then run into Bishop Watterson, who's always a tough team. This year, open up with Waverly again at home this time. Then they go to Wilmington, go to Logan Elm, have Bethel Tate and Western Brown again. First league game is going to be Hillsborough. I think they don't lose a league game this year unless it's Jackson. I think Jackson could be the one that's going to make them a run for their money. But I do think that they finished first in the league, so I would say that they would win that Jackson game. I think they will go undefeated in the FAC.
FAC it.
Yeah. Now I will say, Miami Trace. The biggest thing I have in all caps, just Adam Guthrie.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, we are, dude has 32 Division I offers. He's just an animal.
And that's why I think Robinette is going to be lethal because he's going to have a bunch of time to sit in the pocket and find his guys.
Now, I will say that, he got offered from UF, which I just absolutely love.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Asher LeBeau 8 last year.
Yeah.
That has to do with him. We've got another guy coming in that's just as good, if not better. Gonna eat because of him. It's like when it starts with that offensive line and you can give your quarterback time, it's going to be a good recipe.
I personally think, after looking at their actual schedule for this upcoming year, I think that they either go – I had 7-3, 8-2, but I think it's 8-2 or 9-1, really.
I do believe that they could drop the Logan Elm game.
Yeah, that's
Logan Elm's a good football
good,
program. Wilmington is always a hard.
I think that if they go 8-2, that other loss is going to be to Jackson.
Yeah.
But I think that again, if it's either Miami Trace or Jackson to win the FAC.
I think Logan Elm and Jackson, like you just said, are the two teams that could spoil their perfect season. But I do still think they go undefeated in the FAC and win the league. We can sit here and talk about, or we can talk to the number 1 rated tackle in Ohio, top 10 in the nation, the guy that's going to be blocking for the well-oiled machine at Miami Trace, the one and only Adam Guthrie.
Call him my ex-girlfriend the way he be blocking.
How's it going, man?
Good, how are you?
First off, we want to say congrats, 33 Division I offers. Holy shit, man.
Thank you.
I saw the train kind of started rolling there with Campbell from where your brother's from. How has this ride been for you? I feel like you're waking up every day and be like, yep, no, let's go try to get me to come there.
It's been fun. Definitely different from everyone else around this town, but I'm just glad I can put Miami Trace on the map and have all my other teammates get noticed too.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Put on the map is definitely the right word to use.
I mean, we're sitting here talking about your record next year, and we're trying to find losses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We're nitpicking at games to think that you guys won't win. And, last year you had a bit of an up and down year. You started out with that great game against Waverly. I mean, it was a battle. We actually had to come home after week 1 and watch that because of what we were hearing. And then, you guys finished 7-5. I feel like, though, the mood – and the attitude around your guys' locker room is that you guys expected to be better than last year, and you're kind of on the proud to prove that this year. What has been the mood around that Miami Trace locker room for you guys?
I mean, we all think that we can go undefeated this year. Majority of our players coming back. Julian Baker getting better every day. He's going to be a big part of it, and just finding that our identity and just going with it.
Yeah, find your identity, because it's kind of crazy. You can look at a lot of teams and say, man, that's a running team. Or you look at a lot of teams and be like, man, that's a passing team. But with you guys, man, I'm really high on Trey Robinette this year. I think he is going to be a big shining light for that Miami Trace. And I know Tony's very, very high on Julian. So, what's it kind of like? Do you guys talk, in the locker room about, I don't want to say individual stats, but where you are individually, is it all just, man, throw the individuals out, we're ready to take care of business this year and win what we have now called the FAC, the FAC?
Yes, sir. I think we all don't care about our stats or anything. I think we're just trying to get one thing to win everything, try and win the FAC. We haven't done that in forever, so we go from there.
And it has to, I'm not going to lie. If I was sitting here with 33 Division I offers, especially from the schools that you're getting, it would be kind of hard to be humble. But, looking at your Instagram, Twitter, we kind of really found out about you a lot because you're sitting here saying, hey, my teammates. You're a real team-oriented guy. How do you find that balance of, yeah, I'm getting all these offers, but I know, it's kind of because of my teammates as well?
I mean, just coming from where I was growing up, have a big family. I mean, all close. Especially my big brother always tell me what's real.
Yeah.
And just keep me humble too. Thinks he can beat me up still.
I was going to ask this question.
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen the picture of the dude. I know he's getting bigger out there at college, but I'm like, well, can you take him yet?
I think I can. I don't think he wants to admit it though.
Yeah. That's how all big brothers are.
It's about the fight.
There comes a day where the little brother's like, I can kick your ass now. And they're like, no, you can't. I mean, I know you can, but let's not.
Stop saying it out loud.
Now, I want to ask you because it's also a unique situation where you have an older brother that's kind of gone through this, playing at Campbell, and going through the recruiting process, has he been somebody that you've been able to kind of lean on through this process to kind of guide you?
Definitely. I mean, he's always been my biggest supporter, and he wants the best for me. So I definitely go to him when I need anything, or he's always there for me.
Yeah, I like to earlier where he's like, and I go there to have me a little humbled a little bit. A little humble pie.
Your older brother's like, you still suck, dude.
That's how my brother would be. I'm like, hey, I have this big decision. What should I do? Stop sucking. Like, okay, that's why I don't get you.
Suck it up and pick one.
Yeah, that's why I don't get to you for advice. Now, I want to talk to you about your journey, Adam. You know, because you're not just a football player. You're dominating on the basketball court. I don't know exactly what you're doing in the springtime. Kind of talk to us about your football journey when you realized that football was your sport and how you've gotten to where you are now.
I think it came freshman year. I didn't play varsity until middle of the season. My first start came against Courthouse freshman year.
Oh, that'd be exciting.
I think going out there and proving to everyone that I can do it, just proving myself.
And
so I think it really took off.
And not just any normal game. That's like one of your biggest rivals, isn't it?
Yeah.
Courthouse.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, I did not have the same experience. I got thrown in there against Westfall, our biggest rival. First place snapped the ball 5 feet over our quarterback's head. So I feel like you kind of went in there, had a way better impact on that game. Now, we want to talk to you. Is there different kind of – so last year, I wouldn't say that everybody had you guys picked to win the FAC. You know, Jackson was looking pretty good. So you guys got to kind of have that experience of kind of going under the radar and sneaking up on some people. But this year, you know, you talk around the league, you're talking to football coaches around the area. You guys are picked by a lot of people to win the FAC. How have you guys been dealing with that kind of, I don't want to say adversity, but
new level of expectation?
Yes, and added pressure going into the year.
I think we all just try to block it out and just focus on us. Go and practice every day and getting better.
Hell yeah.
So I think it just comes from that.
Now, you guys ever talk about it? Like, hey, what's it going to be like when we win the FAC? You know, what the journey's going to be like? Or is it just, hey, all eyes on Waverly?
I think it's just all eyes on Waverly right now.
Let me ask you this question. How many days until the Waverly game?
I think it's 31 now.
The fact that he was even that close.
I'm telling you, dude. It's like there's a different type of dog in this guy.
Now, when did you realize, was it freshman year whenever you got into that game that you realized, like, man, like, I want to go next level with this. I want to play college football?
Definitely. And then during that summer, just getting better. And especially during the middle of the season, started getting interest and offers from other schools. Definitely kept going.
And it kind of looked like, too, you got that first offer, and then they kind of just been, have they just been snowballing in since then?
Yes, sir.
So it's I you don't have to tell us yet, but have you been kind of leaning to one school or the other? Or we down to maybe our top
I have
5?
not.
No.
I have not cut down anyone.
He's like,
Florida's real nice in the fall time.
Yeah. Adam is a giant Florida fan, so you will get a Florida recruit.
Swamp's beautiful place to play.
I grew up a Florida fan.
Oh,
hell yeah!
There we go.
Hell yeah!
Adam knew he liked it.
You know what? I think Miami Trace might go in the field this season.
But there's also Miami Trace, Miami of Ohio, Ed Reed, a lot of history. I know they love you down there. But I think one question I kind of have for you is when you're going through that process, is there – you talk like you're a family man. You know, you come from a big family. What are you looking for in a college? Something similar? Are you looking to go out there and get a new experience? What do you think?
I think a place where I can feels like home and I can get like well connected with the coaches. And I want to play early in my career, so trying to find a place I can play early.
That makes sense. You know, I mean, I wouldn't want to go to college and just sit there, but like I also like how you put, I want to play, but I also want to make sure it's a right fit. You know, because I feel like that's a lot of times people are coming out of high school and they just go to college where it might not really fit.
You got to realize a lot of these guys too, redshirt. You might spend 5 years of your life at one place.
Yeah.
You got to make sure it's right.
Exactly. If it's one thing that I've noticed about, recruiting as a college coach now in NCAA football, college football 25 is that that play style matters. It really does.
And do you know what matters? Footwork.
Your
footwork is absolutely
I was
phenomenal.
going to say, do you think your playing basketball has really helped you with your footwork?
I think it definitely does. I think just starting from a young age, playing basketball my whole life, it just helped me with my awareness, people around me and stuff.
Now, what did you play first? Did you play basketball first, or did you play football?
Played football. Basketball.
Oh, you played basketball. Okay, so when did we start dabbling in? Because I played basketball pretty much from kindergarten to 5th grade. And 5th grade was the first time I ever put on a set of pads, and I thought I was a badass. And then I got my shit rocked, and I was like, man, I am not a badass. So when did you finally put on the pads?
3rd grade.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. that makes a lot more sense.
I have to just say, too, your drop step in basketball, phenomenal.
Unstoppable.
Like, it looks like an O-lineman's doing it. He literally steps around like, excuse me, sir, I'm here now.
I looked at Pay Valley's schedule this year. I'm like, no Miami Trace thing. I was like, I did not want to have to figure out how to guard that big man down low. Now, I want to ask, did you ever get maybe a small offer for basketball? Because we've been saying,
I think you were all honorable mention, weren't you, this year?
Yes, sir.
It's insane. How do you just take over 2 sports? Do you even I don't take
as a sophomore.
I was gonna say, don't take this as an insult, but when you play basketball, I get Nikola Jokic vibes. I'm just out there dominating, and I just run down the other end of the court and just kind of sit there. Is basketball just boring to you because you're just so good at it?
I think it was when I was younger. Just being bigger than everyone, I could do whatever I want. But now, playing varsity, I gotta figure out new stuff, pass the ball, be there for my teammates. So I think it's different now. But
you talk about being there for your teammates and things. You're an upperclassman now. You're coming from being a sophomore. Now you're the junior. You're clearly one of the, the media leaders of this game.
He is the media leader.
Yeah. I mean, everybody talking about you. But what are you going to do this year to take that next step to be that upperclassman?
I think just being more vocal, leading the team. Oh, yeah. They can count on me, lean on me, and hoping to lead them to win the FAC and many more games.
See, Adam's going up there.
Lean on him, very easy. The whole team could lean.
Adam's going up there saying, lean on me when the running game is strong.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to ask you, because I like to ask people this. I was not good at football. I think I've made this very clear in this. But I was pretty good at riling up the troops. Do you got any of those guys that, you're about to go in the field and they just come up in front of the team, just start going crazy, giving that motivational speech? Who's that kind of loud guy for you guys before you're getting out there on the field?
Last year was Garrett Guess, believe it or not.
Okay.
So we got to find a new one this year.
Yeah, I think Julian could be filling that shoes, or you, Julian. Now, that's another person we want to talk about is Julian Baker, man. Because you said it first to us. We've been watching from afar, man. What's it like for you as a lineman? Because I know you got Trey back there. He's great. But to have Julian back there knowing that he can make just something out of nothing, that has to make your job feel a little bit easier. Am I right?
It does make my job a lot easier having him back there. I mean, the kid is special.
He jumped on it. He said, yes, a lot easier.
You know me with film and stuff. Sometimes I'm just sitting there it's a whole game. It's tough to be fully in it. But you watch that kid's highlights, he just has something. He's got something you can't teach, and that field vision is it.
You were saying that he might need to be the guy that steps up and get everybody pumped up. I don't think he would be. I think he's more. You've seen Friday Night Lights, the movie, right? He's more of the preacher man, the just intense, which I know he was a defensive guy, but still just that intensity where it's I'm not saying much before the game because I'm locking in and I'm going to put people in the hospital.
It's a lunch pail kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Joe Thomas was that dude. That dude had
packing
a thermos and a lunchbox.
I think he's the guy. After you guys saying this, he doesn't need to be up there doing the hoot and roll. He'd be like, "Don't you think, Adam?" And he's just like, let's kick ass. And the whole place just goes out.
Can you just start telling these kids to lean on you?
Yeah.
Literally, if they look at you for support, just be like, lean on me. I'd be like, God, let's go.
No, I want to ask you, man, because, you say you're a family guy. You're looking for a school that, feels like family to you. And I feel like you kind of get that from Miami Trace talking to you. What does it mean to you specifically to be a Panther?
I mean, it means a lot. Both my parents went to Miami Trace.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's all I've ever known. I mean, I've lived in the same house my whole life. So, and just having the coaching staff around me in both sports and really want the best for me means a lot.
That's you always love whenever it's like generational. Like my parents went there, I go there. I'm guessing your brother went there too. So it's just like passing down that lineage, man, and capping it the way that you're capping it with like a 33 Division I offers. It's insane. My only thing is don't go to Miami. But other than that, Notre Dame guy, I hate him. I don't know why I let you put that up, but I'll leave it there.
I'm sitting in front of
But I wanted to ask you this. You know, you're piggybacking off of that. Sorry, I'm stumbling there a little bit, but piggybacking off of that and everything. You know, then you go into your Washington Courthouse game, and you know when it comes to FAC, you know. Jackson and Chillicothe might have a little bit of a rivalry. Hillsborough, I feel like, is just everybody's rival. But when it comes to you guys in Courthouse, I would say that you guys are the biggest rival in the FAC.
The fact.
How does it feel just playing in that game, and how much do you hate the Blue Lions?
I mean, it's different. Especially my freshman year, first game I played, I was like, whoa. But last year, being at home with all the whole home crowd and all that stuff, it was special, man. Especially get that W every time too.
Yeah, he's getting that W every time. I love it. By the way, W every time. Just throwing that in there. Now, I mean, what was that moment like? Whenever was it like Coach grabbed you and said, "Hey, get in there. I need you. We have an injury." Like, what was that moment like where you first step on that varsity field? Because is it just like deer in the headlights? Like, what the hell is going on?
I got to start because we changed our offense. We went heavy, so I got to play the second tackle. So we went tackle. So I got to play beside my brother on the same side.
How was that?
Which it was fun. It was fun to see.
Now,
so we had.
Sorry, keep going.
Go on. I had 1 week of practice.
1 week of practice.
Did you let up a sack?
We didn't pass the ball, I don't think. I think we passed it 3 times.
Coach said, run it down the throat.
He said we went tackle.
To answer that question, no, he did not give up a sack.
Just say no and never elaborate.
Nope. I think we threw the ball a lot too.
I mean, 100 passes. If I'm remembering correctly.
I don't know for sure.
You're going into multiple years. One question that I had is play weight. One thing with like offensive linemen, especially when you're doing recruiting. What were you playing at last year? What are you planning at playing this year?
I think last year was 268. This year I'm around 295.
Oh, damn.
What do you want your play weight to be? That?
I'll probably play that, and then basketball season I might go down to 285, 290.
That's insane. So what do you do to put on? I mean, I know how to put on the pounds. I just don't stop eating. But is that what you're doing? It's just eating more, getting more calories in, or is it more
lifting.
muscle? Yeah.
It's muscle. I've getting a lot of muscle. I mean, I'm still eating. That's my mom.
Muscle weight. Yeah, I don't have an experience with that. I know. I can eat. I know
I was a lineman lifting with the wide receivers. Okay, lifting was not my forte.
So let's get into it. Then is like Mama Guthrie feeding you guys something special that I could feed my son? Because what is going on in
How
that
do
house?
I make my son a 6'7" Division I recruit?
But in terms of that, like, do you feel like having your older brother be that way, going to college and things, you're really aware of that and being an elite athlete? Is that something that your parents help you do and promote as well through the cabinets and the kitchen meals?
Definitely. Having him go through the same process and seeing how he controls his weight and all that stuff, I mean, I think it definitely helps for me to realize how to do it too.
Does he have any secret recipes to make him grow to 6'7" or 280?
A lot of milk.
A lot of milk.
We're already on it.
I'm off the train.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I literally only eat milk with my cereal.
We go through 2 gallons a week. We got a good fan coming.
We go through a gallon in like, what, 2.5 weeks maybe?
One's me.
That's insane.
I'm not 6'7".
I just can't get on the milk train. What's your favorite food while we're on the topic? What's your favorite food?
If you could cheat, don't
I like
think about
steak and
anything.
potatoes.
What'd you say?
Steak and potatoes.
Steak and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes.
He said, "Give me that meat and potatoes."
Steak.
Yeah.
Not meat. Steak. Very specific. The best kind of meat.
How you get your steak cooked?
Medium.
Oh, we're going to his house to eat, man. That's all right, we're going to ask you some of the hard journalism questions.
Hardest questions you've ever been asked in your life.
I mean, this is where people start to kind of fold here,
Crumble.
so we get it. We'll say you guys just won the state title, undefeated. You are about to go sign with whoever you're going to sign with. That's not Miami. What's the victory meal that you're having after you lift that state title trophy?
Probably steak and potatoes.
He said, I'm going right back to that steak and potatoes. Anywhere specific, or are you having mom's cooking?
Or a potential specific potato.
Mom's cooking.
He said mom's cooking.
I got a question here.
You like mashed? You like baked potatoes?
Mashed potatoes.
That's
Mom's
cool.
homemade mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes with a little corn in it. Oh,
now, are you?
Nah, leave the corn.
Is there a place that, like, say, after signing day, you're going far, far away? Is there a place that you're like, you know what? I'm not going to be home to eat this for a while. I'm going to go ahead and go to this place and eat it, like
the last
like
meal
a send off,
before
like a send off meal.
I think either the Pine Club or Jeff Ruby's.
Ooh, nice. Okay, Jeff Ruby's. I didn't see that one coming. Now I'm getting hungry. We like to keep our questions surrounded by food, so we'll do that one again real quick. We're going to do a start bench cut here for you. We're going to do burgers, pizza, wings. You got start one, bench one, cut one. What's your choice?
I'm going to start pizza.
Yes.
Bench wings.
Nice.
Cut burger.
That is the only response that's allowed.
It's like when you order your pizza, every now and then you have to bench the wings a little bit, but it's the perfect combo.
It's cause when I think of benching wings with pizza too, it's like I'm gonna get 5 instead of 12.
Yeah,
like that's how I feel like the benching of the wings goes. Okay, we're gonna do another question here for you. Who is one of the, other than your brother, who's one of the football players in college or football that you look up to the most? Maybe model your game after, or at least just be like, hey, I want to be like this guy.
I watch a lot of Will Campbell, tackle from LSU.
Yeah, he's a dude.
Like how he plays.
Yeah. Is LSU one of the teams that's offered you?
They have not yet.
They have not. Oh, they're just
missing out.
Idiots.
Yeah, Brian Kelly, leaving
absolute idiots.
We are so stupid. Okay, now we're gonna ask you too. Are you an Avengers or are you a DC fan, or either one?
I don't watch none of that.
None of that. What kind of movies are you watching? Anything?
I don't really watch movies.
He said film.
I feel like he should just start answering every question steak and potatoes.
Yeah.
It's just like, what movies do you watch? I watch
and
plates of steak and potatoes.
What's your favorite activity? Steak and potatoes.
I'm freaking 290,
steak and potatoes.
What are you doing outside of football to kind of relax? Are you playing some Xbox, or are you just living?
How do you want?
Definitely play that new NCAA game.
There we go. There we go. Who's the first team?
Oh yeah, who was the team you picked to play with?
I took Coastal Carolina to the championship.
Nice, dude. I love that field. I was Eastern Carolina, so I had a few battles with you, but it was hard not to go Coastal. I do like the field that they have there.
One of my new favorite fields is that Eastern Michigan field, that gray.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
It is. Now, did you do a Road to Glory player as a tackle?
Can't.
You can't.
They don't have tackle.
Yeah. Damn, I did not know that. I've only done the quarterback. So, you done a Road to Glory player yet?
I have.
Okay, what position, what school did you pick to go to?
I think quarterback, I think went to Marshall.
Nice!
Oh,
okay,
I
like the Marshall. All right. One more question before we get you out of here. Adam, did you have one? I didn't want to.
I say if you want the unlimited XP glitch for the Road to Glory, just shoot our DM.
I've already used it.
Oh, hell yeah!
He said say less.
He said I am the unlimited XP. Now we gotta ask you, man. You've had a long road for football. You know, it's kind of, I don't want to say coming to an end, but one journey's coming to an end while another one's about to begin. What has been one of maybe your favorite moments of football, or what have you really gotten out of football that you carry with you in your everyday life?
I think definitely the friends I've made playing the sport, and just winning games and being with my teammates, friends, and family the whole time has been fun.
Nice, and that's one thing. Once you get out of sports, I feel like that's the reason that we kind of came up with this show too. Is like, you know, you miss that locker room atmosphere where it's just you and the guys. You know, you all are coming together on one mission and you have one common goal. And when you get outside of sports, man, it's kind of hard to be around guys like that again. So I'm glad that you appreciate it, man, and I'm glad that everything's been going really good for you. Tony, you got something?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I guess my last thing is, you got any plans for senior year? Like, isn't this your junior season? I'm like, we're sitting here talking like you're going on to bigger, better things. Like, are you losing this as a stepping stone? Like, your junior season, you're kind of looking at this to kind of work on it to clean up the senior year? Or is it just full board go, let's see how top I can get?
Trying to go back-to-back FAC champions, so we're going full go.
fuck yes. I'm sorry.
Double fact.
Excuse my French. That was.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go through a brick wall.
I hadn't got
I
goosebumps
told
yet this
you guys.
episode.
This is the kid that I don't have to stand in front of you and do hooting and hollering. One-liners.
Lean on me.
Lean on me. Man, Adam, we are really excited to watch these Miami Trace Panthers, man, and we're definitely going to have to get out there and watch you cover one of your guys' games because you are going to be one exciting team this year in Southern Ohio, possibly all of Ohio.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Division I recruit that can go anywhere he wants and is probably destroying your favorite defensive lineman at your favorite school, Adam Guthrie.
You'd look real good in blue and orange.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.
He got that smile. He definitely look good in that blue and orange, man. Look good.
He would.
As soon as he's like, I like Florida, I'm like, you're about to get a whole.
You ruined me during that interview because all I wanted to sing was "Lean on Me."
I know.
Where the running game is strong. That was good.
And I'll take you there. Man. But yeah, going back to Miami Trace, him, Julian Baker, and Trey Robinette. That's.
Yeah, 8-2, 9-1 for sure. Like,
yeah,
it's 10-0 is very attainable. It's just so hard to do it.
Especially
it is hard to
this
do it.
day and age.
Yeah,
man.
and I will say I have Jackson. I had them anywhere from 7-3 to 10-0 because they couldn't lose them. I think they're more of like a. I think they're going to be a 9-1 team, and I think if they only have one loss, it's a possible only one loss to Trace.
Yeah,
but again,
talking about Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson. Yeah, because that's the only team we didn't talk about in the FAC.
I was going to say, going back to the FAC real quick. I think that Jackson does have 2 losses this year. I think they lose to Ironton week 2. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure that is week 2 here. Yes.
Yeah.
So this
year,
that
week 3 matchup's the reason I had him possibly going 7-3.
Wheelersburg,
because that's just back to back. Like
and
you don't get time to heal. You're injured. You're banged up.
The more you talk about it, because they got Logan. I think that's going to be an easy win. Yeah. Ironton, man, Ironton's ranked number 1 in Division 5. Like
Ironton, yeah.
So I don't know if they win that one, but Wheelersburg. While we're talking about it, you kind of bring up a good point because they've beaten Wheelersburg, I think, 5 years in a row now.
That's why I want to say it's more
Wheelersburg's time.
Yeah, I think they are more of a 7-3, 8-2.
Yeah,
I did have 10-0 because the first thing I said with Jackson is I feel this conference is always Jackson's to lose. They are the West Canaan, Texas Coyotes. They got Bud Kilmer back there. 22 district championships.
And their stadium's like that big.
It looks like
Rio
a mini
Grande's
version of the horseshoe. Like they host all kinds. I don't know how many playoff games I've watched there. They are in the class of Ironton and Wheelersburg. That's why they're always playing them. So that's why I think they beat Wheelersburg.
They're definitely
last year.
beating Ross. Yeah. Ross sucks. He's horrible. They're definitely whooping that ass.
Ross
can take a hit.
He take a hit like
Ross
baseball
can
bat
take
to
a
the
hit,
head.
and he will get back up. But what I know, if you just keep hitting him, he will stay down.
10-0 is
like
hard
the
to
dog
do.
that
I
he
think if
is,
anybody
and
in
a
that
bad
conference
dog.
can do it, it's going to be Jackson. But I think they do go 9-1.
I think Jackson beats
8-2.
Ross 156 to nothing easily. Probably have 100 in the first half.
I think it's going to be. I think they're going to lose to Ironton and possibly Trace. If they don't lose to Trace, Ironton's their only loss.
Yeah. I'll say it one more time. Fuck Ross. But I think
I was just told that another team is going undefeated by somebody that has inside knowledge.
Yeah.
Right there on the TV.
Yeah.
So Jackson will have 2 losses this year.
You going with Ironton and Trace?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go the same way there. I think.
It's definitely a possibility.
I'll tell you one thing. I don't think because last year the closest game that they had in conference was none of them.
Yeah, Jackson.
Literally was none of them. They beat Chillicothe 48-7, McLean 62-14, Hillsborough 63-21. They beat Miami Trace 42-13 last year. But if I remember correctly, it was like a 1 or 2 possession game halfway through the third. I think they got blown out later in the game, and then they just blew out Washington
Courthouse.
Yes, Washington Courthouse. I do think though Trace this year.
I have played against Jackson my entire life. Like I know the animal that they are. So it's like they are up there with Ironton and Wheelersburg. Hell, they have a chance of beating Ironton and going again 10-0. Like I think it's a possibility.
I think the one thing is just like you touched on earlier when they talk about maybe throwing the ball more and doing different things. They're not necessarily going to have the same identity as they did last year.
So that's why I think that they might go.
I'm interested to see if they can nail that down quickly.
I think Wolford,
because they can.
I kept telling you last year, especially because you picked him up late and he was doing good stuff for you. Bodie Wolford I think he's going to be a great quarterback for him. He's
fantasy and in real life.
Yeah, I think he's going to be because playing with his brother last year, I feel like he kind of like. I don't know, because his brother is who his brother is. He's going to Kent State. Like, he's going to be a dog.
And Bodie didn't – I don't think Bodie started, like, actually starting and playing significantly until about the third game of the year.
And then he kind of, like, took over.
Because he was in that little quarterback battle.
He got a decision-making – like, he kind of developed decision-making in last year. Because I'm pretty sure –
Bodie was still all-FAC last year.
Yeah.
Insane. Didn't start until week 3 or 4 all-FAC. It's insane.
There would be times where, like, he'd have, like, a game to where he's like, oh, he's 5 for 8 with 200 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Much like a Nick Burns catching 7 passes and taking 4 of them to the house. Like I do remember you telling me, you're like, hey, good call on Wolford. Not to call him the other Wolford, because I'm sure he's like, hey, I'm not in my brother's shadow. I'm playing quarterback, different
he's
positions.
He's the Wolford now.
Yeah, this year, the Wolford. But I remember telling you last year's like, or you telling me like, yeah, you didn't say this, but for lack of better terms, the other Wolford is he's going to be something.
It's just, and like as you're talking about, it's just hard to sit here and be like, yeah, Jackson ain't winning the league. Like, it just doesn't sound right to say that.
Did you not just listen to him?
I was going to say,
play defense?
But I don't think it happens.
Is he on the defensive side as well?
That's why I forgot to ask.
Nobody on Jackson football has given me goosebumps yet. So this man right here preaching to me.
I literally saw the goosebumps.
Dude, they were huge.
Yeah,
that was insane. I was riled up.
I haven't seen that since Garen Barris and Gary Williams.
I don't know if it ever made the cut or anything, but we did film with Cade Wolford on the fantasy show, so I just don't know if it ever made the cut and is on the YouTube or anywhere or anything like that.
It should be under one of our channels.
Okay, because I know it was one of the last like fantasy shows we had, which hopefully we might be.
Which we are definitely going to try and bring that back again.
Even
this
if
year.
It's just a segment to where we can have a 10-minute clip while we're taking a break.
Anything else to talk about the FAC? I think.
Again, just double down on Jackson. They're Texas football in Ohio.
Yeah.
Them, Ironton, Wheelersburg, Texas football in Ohio.
I think they might FAC some people up this year. So, I think
we can go straight into court being in session.
Without further ado, it's time. Wait.
You're not allowed to do it.
Court's in
He's
session.
the judge.
Sorry. Say it again one more time.
Contempt.
I'll help myself in contempt of the court. I don't know if you guys ever watched Parks and Rec, but it's in there. All right, Adam, courtroom.
My favorite court thing is like liar, liar when Jim Carrey beats the shit. Hey, 48 hours since the last time I used. You guys ever seen Liar, Liar?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Jim Carrey beats the shit out of himself. He's like, he can't lie because
I've seen like clips of him.
So he beats the shit out of himself, and he's getting away with like he's not technically lying about it. They're like, so who did this? He's like, guy about 6'2", had a T-leg. He was a maniac. He just really let me have it. So the first one is who's gonna win in a fight, a grizzly bear or a liger? And I had to go with the liger because it is a hybrid tiger-lion mix. They're just a little bit bigger. They're more on the size of.
I think you won last time, so you get to pick if you want to pick which side or if you want to go first.
We're gonna do like 45 seconds.
Okay.
Give me the grizzly.
The grizzly bear. Now, Clay, do you want to go first or second?
It's grizzly bear versus the liger. I will go second. And you're doing grizzly bear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, hold on. I was getting a phone call. That's why I got to pull my timer back up because, damn it. All right. And go.
Size. Keyest piece here. Pelt. Keyest piece as well. There's 2 keyest pieces. All that being said, if they come up, try to bite him, slash him, different things like that, they're almost immune to those things. They are also up to 6.5 feet tall. 12.5 feet tall. I was about to say 2 times of a human. I'm blowing this. Either way, if the liger came up, tried to scratch him, tried to bite him, they would have no chance, whereas the bear has sheer power. You might think they have speed and power, but the difference is if it's one-on-one and they're going hand-to-hand, they're over top of them, pushing them to the ground. They have a stronger jaw. Everything about them is bigger and better.
So we'll give you about 35 seconds. Now, I will say a Liger's size is like 11 foot long and like 5 feet tall. So
yeah, the Bears stats,
it's still
a
little shorter.
I was looking at them just the other day, and they had like a vehicle and like how tall the bear was, and I was like, holy shit, they're bigger than cars.
Have you ever watched Bears fight?
No.
Dude, it's crazy.
Dude, and they get husky. They do the dog thing where the first hand's on the back of their neck, but it's the whole thing.
You'll just see like their like backs twitching and stuff, and it's like muscles tensing up. There's a lot of power in Bears. All right, so Clay, go.
Napoleon Dynamite is how I'm going to tell you that you're wrong, okay? Because when Napoleon Dynamite is sitting there drawing the Liger, one thing that you missed on your argument, you're comparing the bear fighting other animals that don't have magic powers, okay? They have magic powers. You're sitting here saying, oh, he's going to get scratched by a lion. Yeah, because the lion doesn't have magical fucking powers, okay? The Liger does. The Liger's going to fuck up the bear, and then if the bear goes at him, he's just going to fly away, come back down, fuck him up again. So all I have to say is Napoleon Dynamite told you why.
All I want to say is literally they're bred for their magical powers. I didn't want to interrupt you, but all I wanted to say, it's a Liger. They're bred for their magical powers. And I'm just like, shit, I lost.
I'm gonna have to go with Tony on this one just because the magical powers is not real.
I didn't even they can't reproduce though. My thing is
Ligers, no, you have to. It has to be. So there's also like.
That's the
so
only
there's a Liger
and
then there's a Tigon or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a Liger is a male lion, female tiger, and then it's vice versa. It's the other one. It's Tigon or whatever.
Yeah. That's why I was glad that you didn't go Liger because I was like, I don't know what to say about the bear.
I'm telling you right now, if I had Liger, that's the way I was going. That's the first place you heard of it.
Liger. I was like,
don't tell me that's not the first place
Clay,
you heard of a
Liger. You
Liger.
get to pick this next one.
Okay.
You get to pick if you're going first or second, or
Which
do
side
you want So what's a better sound in sports or in baseball? A pitch hitting a mitt or that sound of a ding or bat crack?
Ooh, I can do well on both of these. Okay.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying.
I figured you guys would both like this.
I'm going to go with the mitt. So
Damn.
Yeah. So
okay.
I would have picked the mitt too.
Yeah.
I'll go second.
Okay. So
Damn, I wasn't ready for that one. Okay. Okay.
And go.
The ball hitting the mitt is the symphony of baseball. It lets you know where you're at. Yes, the crack of the bat has that nice loud crack. Yes, it signifies a home run. But when you go out back with your son, when you're a dad, you got those two gloves. And when you grow up and you remember back on those days, the sound of the ball just hitting the mitt just right is where you're going to think of. And when you're a pitcher and you throw it just right and it hits that catcher's mitt just right for that strike three, that was actually the end of it, too. Yeah. Like, you hit it, yeah.
Ready? You said just right too many times. That being said, how many times does a ball hit a mitt in the glove? 1,000. How many times do people stand up in the stadium every time they hear the crack of the bat? When you hear that crack, whether it's an out or a home run, you're like, let's go! I don't care if it's even on TV, but they throw the ball back to the pitcher every time. Ball hitting the mitt. Don't play on heartstrings either because my son's so young, I ain't played baseball with him yet, so it don't matter to me yet.
Well, you're not the one I'm trying to convince here.
So what I'm saying is, kids in the backyard don't matter. Dingers
Kids
do.
in the
I was going to do that earlier in about 20 seconds because like Tony has already won.
Yeah.
You know? I said the biggest thing that Clay missed out at. The biggest thing I feel like he missed out on, Clay, is like watching a pitcher's duel and just hearing that, and that's the only thing you're hearing and absent of. Could have been something you said, but yeah, I think Tony just wins that one.
Dude, the thing is, the symphony of baseball, if you ended with that one line, you'd have a damn good shot at it. Because when you said that, I was like, shit balls, that is the best. That little, you're having a catch.
Well, I wanted to make sure I got it in there, so I was like, I got to open with it.
Dude, the symphony of baseball was good.
Thank you. It's about the only good point I made.
The symphony of baseball in a pitcher's duel would have been
like,
well, see, Clay won it, but
that's why whenever you were like, well, when they throw it back to the pitcher, I'm like, well, yeah, because it doesn't. No one cares because it don't make that noise. Like
it's the catcher's mitt.
It's the catcher's mitt, or it's that like ground ball to third or short and a fucking rope
Dude,
to
even
first
if
base.
it's when you're warming up and you're doing like a long toss and you see the ball coming and you put the glove there 10 minutes before it's even there and it's just and you're like, ooh.
Or
I will say Tony won that, but I think the baseball hitting the glove is a better
Or
sound.
you think the ball's like coming in maybe like slower than you think, and then when it hits the mitt, you're like, ooh, okay.
Yes.
Like,
and dude, when it hits that perfect spot in the glove and your wrist barely reverbrates and it was coming
now,
in
here's before we go on to your next one, Adam, that just a opinion
No, that
thing.
was just the only two we had.
Okay, opinion thing real quick. Do you think – I think I know you guys' answer, but I want to make sure. Do you think the sound of the ball coming off of a wood bat or an aluminum bat is better?
So the aluminum bat is nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing
what
is
you
like
grew up with.
and you have to be able to differentiate between like the ding off a regular hit and when somebody hits the sweet spot of the barrel with that.
Yeah.
Dude, when somebody gets that aluminum bat smack dab in the middle, knew the pitch, it is a beautiful, beautiful
I
sound.
think
I prefer the wood bat sound just because
but
it's more of a crack.
consistent.
So
it's literally every time. It's nice. Like that's what's nice about the wood.
I'll go with the wood bat that I like the sound more, but I would like to go on your point when like I think there's times when you hit the ball with a wood bat that sounds great. You're like, oh, that's going to go out, and it doesn't.
The
So
consistency.
where like with the
It's always
aluminum
nice.
bat, there's like you said, there's that sweet part on the barrel.
It's almost
that
a
when-
thud.
that
Like
when
it takes
hits
away that
it-
like high pitched dink. It's
But that when
like-
it hits it, Ray Charles is like, damn, gone. Like, you know what I mean?
feel like-
you
I
know
feel
what I
like
mean?
you
Like,
get that
you
more
don't
with a
have
wood
to
bat.
look. The pitcher just immediately puts his head down. Like, I think it happens with the wood bat, but I feel like the wood bat can kind of.
It's always good. That's
yeah,
the
I feel like the wood bat can kind of lie to the blind man a little bit more than the. Now, I'm not to say.
I love that too.
Yeah,
I felt like every single hit you hit with an aluminum bat is going to sound more like it's because it's a different material. So I feel like that one would lie
Sometimes
to
you get
Ray.
these high pitched ones that are like
Yeah.
almost not.
And
nice,
I definitely
not
see where
nice
you're
to
coming
you.
from too.
To me,
100%.
if one's lying to a blind man, it's the aluminum one. But
Yeah.
you
I
have
would
I feel like
say
a better opinion
I would
on
say
this.
Go to a batting cage, and if you listen, I worked at one. That's the only reason I'm thinking about it. Is that like when they're not hitting it right, that dink isn't nice.
Oh, that's the
I
only
would
reason I got this is because I was going to the cages quite often. So I was like, I'm buying me like a
I would say
$200 bat.
hitting the perfect sweet spot on a bat, you know more often, and this is just an opinion, you would know more off the aluminum than you would the wooden bat. Like, that is 100% gone. To where the wooden bat, I'm going to be feeling like, yeah, that sounds like it could have went out, but it's a wood bat.
I'm on the fence because the aluminum's nostalgic for sure, like I said, but the wood bat every time sounds good.
I'm going to I like the wood bat sound more than the aluminum, but I would be lying if I didn't say I thought the same thing as you. Like, it's nostalgic. It's
You get that DeMarini air chamber bat.
Unless as a kid you got to play in like a wood bat league or a wood bat tournament, then you really didn't have any experience of like getting to play with a wood bat. What are you doing?
Trying to fix this. It's just bugging me.
You ain't fixing Wentz, bud.
Yeah.
10 years.
All right, I think it's time to get on to our draft. Unless you said you're done with the Courtroom.
we're
All
done.
right, let's get on to our draft. It is a battle royale. We are back in the Roman Coliseum with a fight to the death of historical figures. Last week it went Tony, me, Adam. So we were shaking up this week by going me, Adam, Tony. In this, are we going 4 or 5? We'll go 4. If we want to go 5 later on, we can. Fellas, I do think that there is an actual 101 in this draft. I think I'm going to get him. I'm going to go with Alexander the Great.
Yep, not my 101.
Not your 101. Okay, all right.
Because I heard from this new little.
Yeah, I heard he was a little on the gay side.
I heard he liked lady boys.
Yeah,
and by
so-
lady boys I mean boys.
So,
They
I'm
liked
going to go with him
everything.
just because, after also watching that thing, man, like
There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing.
yeah,
wrong with that.
nothing wrong with that. But
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
I just definitely think, he was he's literally was called Alexander the Great. I feel like he was a great general. He also became a pharaoh. So I got a pharaoh in
He
there.
also
That's
conquered a third of the known world.
awesome. Yeah, so we're going to,
He could have been lying.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, was he part of the 27 Club? I mean, technically it would
He
have been
didn't
before
have.
the 27
He didn't have
Club
a white
was.
lighter.
Huh?
He didn't have a white lighter on him, so I know that.
He
for
did
sure.
it first.
Well, he could have just the
I heard
white
he was a
lighter
hipster.
in his term could have been a little different.
It was
As
just
a white
like
guy that lights things. Adam, you have your first pick. Who's
this
gonna
is the
be?
true number one, like one of one is Genghis Khan.
Okay, so I had him on here. I almost went with him number 101, but honestly, I went with Alexander the Great just because I knew more about Genghis Khan. I want to talk about this because I feel like you might know the answer. Is it true that Genghis Khan's DNA can be traced like 96% of human population?
I think it was like 70. I want to
Yeah,
say.
'cause the
also I know he was like he killed like 20% of the known population at the time and like helped save like 10% on like the human carbon footprint at that time. Like he killed so many people that he made the actual atmosphere better because we weren't breathing as much like toxic air back in there.
Well, that's also I think he had to produce so many kids because man, I'll just every 20 I slaughter, I'll put one out.
He was busting them.
Yeah. Genghis Khan, I think that is a very good. You definitely took one off my list. I didn't think he'd make it back to me, but if he did, I was going to be happy. Tony, you got 2 in a row here. Who are you going with?
The first one, I'll go jump back to last week, and I'm doing Francis Marion. He's the guy that the Patriots made after. He's literally the reason why we were able to just destroy people in the South. Guerrilla warfare, they say it invented with Grant, but it wasn't. It was him. He literally he was like, this is my surroundings. All I need is 4 dudes properly placed with different mount things, and all they would do is jump up, shoot like 3 or 4 of them.
Just so everybody knows, he's talking about the Patriot movie, not the New England Patriots.
Yeah, they're fake Patriots. Yeah. But nonetheless, he'd come up, shoot like 3 or 4 of them, run down with his buddies, wait, shoot 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. Imagine being there, walking down the path, like, I don't want to walk here anymore.
I'd be like, I'm done. I join you.
It's like, dude, I'm walking with them, but like, take me as the dude you don't shoot of those people because I'm just kind of here for now until you take out the rest of them.
Yes.
I thought he was really.
If I would have known that was a real person, which I should have because you told me last week, I probably would have had him.
Dude,
on
my history teacher like told me that, and I was like, what do you mean? He was like, his nickname was the Swamp Fox. I'm like, yes.
Yep, that's my guy. That's my guy. All right, who's your second pick?
I'll take Teddy Roosevelt.
Fuck you, man.
That was he was
dude,
on
you
mine.
get
I really thought that he was going
to continue to give another hour and a half of your speech when you're back there with sedentary and all these other diseases that are dysentery that are
you get back in them days. You got shot. You finished the speech. You didn't get carried off by Secret Service with your hand in the air.
Man,
pansy.
I'm glad I made a list today.
Yeah. I'm kidding.
No, I really thought Teddy was going to make it back to me. He is.
I don't think that spot.
I don't think there's a question that he's the most badass president we've ever had.
Walk with
like,
a big
true
stick,
badass.
the whole thing in Panama. That dude was it.
That guy.
Yeah, I had FDR, but that was when I thought we were doing more like a presidency, like a cabinet almost.
Because I'm thinking too, like, do we want to like kind of have a guy that's the brains of this operation? That's still
I kind of went that way.
You know
like
what I mean?
have one guy that's the brains and a couple guys that can go out and fight.
There's probably a guy you need to at least tell these.
See, I could get a guy like Genghis Khan to be my brains.
That's true, because he could be your brains and fight as well.
Yeah, like that's because I was thinking when I was thinking FDR.
Nah, dude, like I don't know if he could be brains.
Yeah. Really?
Unless it's literally just go murder everyone else.
Yeah.
Bro, it was literally like,
what do you think? Kill
that guy just farted. Kill his entire family, every generation. Does he have cousins that are literally step cousins? Murder them too.
Adam, who's your second pick?
Was a
My
dog.
second pick is going to be Leonidas.
Nice.
Yes.
And he was legit too. Like,
it's
not just they like upplayed him for 300. It's like they had nothing left, dominated that area for
because he was a
hundreds
Spartan,
of
right?
years.
I'll just make sure.
But that was like the downswing of the Spartans, where they were like kind of coming out where it's just like you can't just murder everybody. That's not it, and they're like you don't have enough dudes.
So I'm gonna go with what we were just talking about. I feel like I want a leader, but I want a leader like the brains. But
another guy that could be a leader, Leonidas. Another one of my.
Yeah, I want somebody. I think Alexander the Great obviously could be a great leader. Right?
I feel like that he should be.
I would think I would rather have him though as my hey Alexander, just go out there and fucking kill people. And I think like that's whenever he would just thrive. So the guy that I'm going to go with, I think he could be my brains and also be able to mess some people up. I'm going to go with Big George Washington. I got to go with him. He created our nation.
To quote Shane Gillis on it, like he was talking about how he's like, yeah, dude, he's basically just like a big dude with Down syndrome out there, a ginger with Down syndrome. He's like, he's 6'2", he's like a giant. He's got wooden teeth. Like. He's just like stupid, crazy, like nah. Like they're like no sane person would cross the Hudson right now in a boat. And he's like, yes, get a boat. We're fucking on! Like,
Merry Christmas, motherfucker!
Yeah. And then they're just like, ah! What the fuck is that? It's the giant ginger.
Great. Hey, that's my president.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I can't concentrate after that one. I don't know if I should be talking about him. I literally didn't even have him on my list until I found out he was a bartender. Abe Lincoln.
He was, weirdly enough, before I had to redo my list, he was my number one.
Yeah, he
he undefeated wrestler. Like, he would go around wrestling people. Like, he's like 600 and something and won. He only lost one wrestling match.
I don't know. Actually, I think.
And they say Donald Trump is a -7 handicap. I think back then they were writing some shit to write some shit. That dude was like 6'4", lanky as all hell. Maybe he was good at wrestling. Well, honestly, back then they probably weren't that good at it. It was probably just man versus man. He's like 6'3". He's rolling up with the top hat.
Well, I just imagine it was like the Greek, like the Greeks used to just wrestle. So it'd be like actual like. Yeah. Like, you'd have Brock Lesnar out there when he was.
I just can't get the George Washington shit out of my head, man.
Son,
he came out looking like he came out to the Hulk Hogan. I am the real American. His pageantry.
All right, I'm gonna go Julius Caesar here.
There's your brains.
Yeah, that's what.
Because the thing is, he took over a lot. He wasn't really a violent dude.
That's what I'm realizing. I don't think Washington's actually gonna be my brains either. I think he's gonna be the guy in the corner, like you said. Let's do this, George. Just sit the fuck down, all right?
Only a crazy person would do that. He's like, yeah, they don't see it coming.
Yeah, it's winter. There's a building on
see
fire
these
over
wooden
there.
teeth?
It's 2,000 yards away across water.
George,
we got these little rowboats. These are damn near kayaks.
The water's
We're doing it.
I know this wood. Same I got in here. It's good.
George, the water's frozen. We'll break the water,
and we can walk on it. Pull the boat.
Do you know what a Delaware is? Me neither. But that's what this river is. It don't mean shit. Let's go.
I said the Hudson. It was the Delaware.
Adam, it's back to you.
So I got what? Genghis Khan and Leonidas.
I didn't pick yet.
Yeah, I did. I picked Julius Caesar and George Washington.
It's not
You're
my
last.
turn yet?
It goes me, Adam, you.
Oh, the whole snaky thing.
Yeah. So, Adam, your pick? Are we doing 4 or 5 rounds?
Here we go, 5.
Okay, cool.
So, because you got my number 1, I'm going to go with my number 2, Plato.
Who got your number
There's
1?
your smart.
You did.
I got your number 1?
Kinda.
I'm seeing a theme with your team here.
Yeah.
Oh, no. He had Alexander the Great. Because Plato liked himself some young boys.
Well, now with Plato.
We know he's not as big as Russia. So.
That's all, you know, Greek is like everybody back then was doing.
Yeah,
so
really
so
was.
Plato literally translates into broad. So like he was really smart, but he would also like if like he lost a debate or was like trying to like prove a point, he'd be like, yeah, so E = MC squared. And he'd start flexing on people. He'd be like, oh, you're proving me wrong?
Say something.
Ooh, yeah, look at that. Look, he's welcome to the gun show, little pussy. Could you imagine Trump being like, 6 second head count, mother?
No, somebody just starts making sense. It's like, yeah, he's an awful candidate. Like, he's ugly. His dog's ugly. And he's like, yeah, well,
he goes full Hulk Hogan, just rips the shirt.
Oh, man. This shirt was a gift. And I love the person who gave it to me.
Man, that's fucking awesome. That's all I'm going to imagine tonight is George Washington in a corner going, let's do this! And then Plato over there like, no!
I just picture him at like Valley Forge being like, oh, we have all these mercenaries teaching our soldiers how to do this. He's over there in the freaking shed just headbutting the log cabin like, I don't need to learn shit! This is what I got!
You talking about George? Yeah. I just imagine popping out the wooden dentures and using them as brass knuckles.
It's a hard fist now.
Oh, all right, Tony, you got 2 picks.
There's only one dude that I know of that was like more brutal than Genghis, and it was Attila the Hun.
Yeah.
That dude literally just murdered everyone. It literally was just like it didn't matter if you were not part of the crew.
Was he also Mongolian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say they ran
together. Mongolian guys. They're like, hey, Mongolian was like, hey, fuck the world.
Dude, quick history thing. Genghis Khan, when he died, he took a book of about 7 people to bury him. Those 7 people, one of them killed 6 of them, came back. He was murdered by the next people to make sure no one knows where his burial is. And still to this day, no one knows.
That's insane.
Dude,
well, that's also probably good.
When they went out there, they knew they were dying.
Yeah.
Like, they literally were like, we're willing to bury this guy. And I would, too, if I got to eat well for 30 years.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever he dies or, like, somebody like that dies, right, I feel like there has to be a moment where they all look around like,
you just know
I
that
could kill all of you, and then I'm the
you just know that the one that was like, you had like 6 guys that were kind of like, I wouldn't call them little pussies, but like I will get 6 little pussies, and you got one badass.
I don't want to call them little pussies, but 6 little pussies.
And then that one guy's like, the 7th guy's like, all right, you think you guys can go? Come on, let's try it. Kills all them. He's like, all right, now I'm gonna go back to town, and I'm a man of my word, so I'm gonna let this other person kill me. But
see what happens though, like when that guy comes back, right? The one guy that kills the 6 comes back, and those people try to kill him, and he's such a badass, he kills them too. He's like,
that's why he's just like,
I'm leaving part of this out. There might have been another step of killing.
Yeah,
like, I didn't want to over exaggerate, but if we Google this after the show, which we probably
if I was the guy that killed the 6 guys, I'm not going back to town to die.
What I'm telling you is, I think the original brigade was like 100, and those dudes are dead too.
That's
like
insane.
I think it was like 100 to 7.
Yeah.
Killed, dude,
I don't know if I want Genghis Khan to be
all
my
right, buddy,
brains.
we're just killing each other. They were just like,
but you
hey,
were
we're
so
done.
badass,
Like,
dudes were literally like, just to bury you, we're willing to take out like.
Or they were just like, we know that what's left for us. Like, you did some killing, you asshole. You ruined my life.
You know how many people are pissed off right now?
Yeah, they're gonna torture us. Maybe like that last guy that killed all the other 6. He wasn't supposed to die.
We're changing the prime rib to not year or just yearly. And they're like, what? You're pissed off.
What do you mean we're canceling the McRib?
All right, you got
2
one more,
is,
Tony.
Just in case that there were magical powers involved.
I literally thought he picked just in case, like the State Farm guy.
I didn't get Jesus. I will take Jesus. One
was a real person.
Yeah, but he's got like another life. Like he might be the dude that's like he's dead over there.
Well,
next thing you know,
like if
3
you're a
days
non-believer,
later, we have a battle arena. We're there. Boom. Jesus gets stabbed. He's dead. You guys think you win.
If it's a 3-day battle,
yeah.
You got no. The whole thing is when you leave the stadium, you guys might win the battle. I win the war. Jesus comes back to life. One of my dudes is still around. He comes around, pops you guys off real quick.
Also, you guys think maybe
you're the
he's
one
just
that has alcohol right now.
Well, he's also really good at he's a carpenter, so no broken weapons.
True.
No.
So if we're just getting the base value of it, like if you're going
it's literally like broken weapon. Now cool shank.
Hey, you better hope there's not water, because if there's water, he's just gonna go stand in the middle of it. Now you gotta
that
swim
might be
up
a
to
problem
him.
that you have with Jesus. We're like, hey, I need you to make these things to kill people. He's like,
oh, dude, Jesus
that's like
just
1,000% against what
No, he's gonna be sitting there, be like, I already did this once. I ain't going back again.
Jesus is just gonna go like this. Boom. Now all your blood or all the water in your body, 73% of it is now alcohol. You die alcohol poisoning immediately.
And then drinks your blood.
Yeah, just.
So I got a 50-50 chance of taking you guys all.
Or he could just.
a 50-50 chance of drinking you guys to death. All right, Adam, you got your 4th pick.
My 4th pick, I'm gonna have to go with Adrian Carton de Werret. Dude he's dubbed the unkillable soldier. He's been shot 11 times. 2 of those were in the face.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I wrote that Adrian Carton something. I couldn't remember it at the end.
DE space WIART word. But yeah, so
the unkillable soldier.
Yeah, he got he got shot in the face twice. He couldn't see out of his eye. This was in the first war. This was the first war. After that war ended, he's getting the Victorian Cross, and they're like, what about the war? And he's like, frankly, I kind of liked it. Direct quote.
Shot
went back
in the eyes.
Yeah. Went back, had 6 more shots. Dude's a tank.
Can you imagine,
tank.
how'd you like the war? Better than my wife's cooking.
Frankly, it was the time of my life. Never had more fun in.
I was more depressed when I came home and I realized my wife didn't cheat on me. She waited on me.
I gotta go back to work. Yeah. I got a mundane job. I would never felt more alive than when I was taking lives. You ever been shot? Best way to wake up?
Man, I'm definitely not winning this draft, so I don't know which way I'm gonna go now. If I should just go for pure comedy. I'm going Abe Lincoln.
You already picked Abe.
No, I didn't. I talked about him. I said I wasn't going to pick him.
I thought you said you did. That was my number 1.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, I'm going with Abe this time around just because, again, he's a bartender. So, for some reason, there's a bar. I know he can.
And apparently he's a good wrestler. But again,
and if there's vampires involved, I know I'm good.
Yeah.
If any of you guys.
Or zombies.
Yes. So.
And there's a third one. But yeah, so that was before I had to redo my list, huh?
Yes. Yeah, if you guys pick John Wilkes Booth, I am fucked. But
no, just as long as he doesn't go
Yeah, we are gonna go watch a play. So
the Coliseum's not it's not really a booth.
Can we call this
play.
a civil war? Because I feel like I have a better chance of winning if it's a civil war.
No, you said stadium or something.
I know, but like that's where it's at.
I said if you can't go. You can't. If I specifically asked, "Hey, are we doing this as a war earlier?" and you were like, "No," so I had to have a complete second list.
No, you're not allowed to change it.
I'd be like, "No, you can't go back." Like that's bullshit because then my list would be different.
All right, so I know I have Einstein on here because I was like, man, if I need brains or someone to build me an atomic bomb, I got him.
You don't have the material.
I was about to say I was like, I won't have the material to make an atomic unless you can make an atomic bomb out of sand. I don't think you can though.
Yeah, that was he was just with the guy.
Yeah, that was
what
was the guy's name? Oppenheimer or something like that. Yeah. And then I had Muhammad Ali on here. I thought he could definitely have some good motivational speeches. Do feel like he'd be dead rather quickly though. So
yeah, he usually try to get out.
I'm gonna get a Navy here, and I'm gonna go Christopher Columbus because he had no problem killing people at all, from what I've read.
I just don't know. I just don't think he was.
Yeah, then he showed up and created massive genocide.
Had a whole bunch of other people do massive genocide.
Exactly. So maybe he's the leader I've been looking for this whole time.
Think about how long his jingle has lasted.
His what?
His jingle.
What is that?
Christopher Columbus.
The ocean blue
junk?
thing.
Huh?
He's talking about the 1942 Christopher sailed the ocean blue. Gay.
I didn't know that was a joke.
I never heard it in my life. I heard MIS.
I didn't. I've always heard Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. I don't even think I said that right.
1942 Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
I don't think it was 1942.
1492.
Okay.
Yeah, would I say 1942?
Yeah,
Dyslexia.
Yeah, so I'm going to make a terrible pick with Christopher Columbus. I also just realized I drafted a Navy, and we were in a Coliseum.
Yeah.
So that
you drafted a person.
Hold on. Did you know that the Coliseum had naval battles?
Yeah,
they
filled it up with
naval
water.
battles. They filled it up with
That's
water.
fucking awesome. Why are we not doing this in modern day?
Sick.
Chris
But yeah, you
Columbus.
didn't draft a Navy. You just drafted a guy that could operate.
Yeah, but you
a
don't
Navy.
get them in the Coliseum.
Yeah, it's true. So this, honest to God, might be the worst pick of the
You just got Christopher Columbus. I don't think he can fight.
No, I think Christopher. I think Christopher
Crowd
Columbus
guy.
is my sacrifice. Like, hey, one of us has to die first. Chris, go on out there. You probably deserve it more than any of us.
Christopher, you can tell he goes by Topher. He's a douche.
All right, Adam, we are back to you. I should have went Albert Einstein.
Yeah. My honorable mention here would be.
I haven't had a fifth yet. No, this is your
Clay,
fifth.
Yeah, Clay did like.
Yeah,
8
this is Adam. I
honorable
already
mentions.
have my list. It's not.
My
good.
honorable mention
Came out hot.
Matthew Henson is somebody that I would have went here. He was just he was the only. So he was one of 4 people that wasn't Inuit, which is like Eskimo, which is a bad term you're not supposed to use. But he was also like the only African American to go to the Arctic. Like he was one of the first 4 people to go to the Arctic Circle, the North Pole, and the only African.
So he is Santa Claus.
Yeah, like he drank seal's blood so his teeth wouldn't rot out from the cold and stuff like that. Dude was a badass.
I would have never thought of that being a thing.
Yeah, so that's my yeah. So he got it from the Inuits, but so that's my honorable mention. My number 1 is. Or my number 5 should have been a number 1. Lubu. I just knew you guys didn't know who he was. He's like the most bad. Lubu. So he was like. Do you know what
Lubu?
Lubu.
Lubu Jones?
No, just Lubu.
Oh,
but,
that's even better.
Why did you put Jones?
I really thought he said Jones.
No, so it's like
Lubu Jones. It rolled off the tongue.
It's like feudal Japan times.
Yeah,
but I want to say it was like during like the Han Dynasty, so it was like it was in China, but it was like during feudal Japan. It was like they had like they were like warlords almost. Yeah, basically.
I thought about looking up one of the greatest samurais, but then I just didn't.
Basically, Lubu is him.
No way.
Did you see what I literally just
swear
Googled?
I swear to God, I did not. He literally just typed in samurais.
As soon as you said it, I was like, that's the best dude in the Coliseum. He's got hand-to-hand weapons. This dude's going to be out here killing it.
Who you picking?
That's literally what Lubu is. Is like
samurai.
Kind of like that era, but he's like apparently like the strongest.
He was like the samurai.
The saying that people said back then wasn't like the Christopher Columbus. It was Lubu among men, red hair among horses. Which
Yeah. He was what?
Chuck Norris of Asia.
Lubu among men, red hair among horses, because his horse was like the fastest and he could pull the most, and he was the most badass. So it was basically like Chuck Norris and Chuck Norris.
Nice. That's a nice little sleeper pick. All right, Tony, you got the last pick of the draft. Who you
Honorable mention is Toyotomi
Hideyoshi.
Jesus Christ. Because samurais definitely would be great at it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to end with Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson.
Reason being, I need more tough guys in there.
He's a big old dick.
Well, I wanted to say it's Bruce Lee historical because he's dead.
Yeah, I almost went Napoleon, but I realized Napoleon's kind of a little bitch.
Yeah, he's
also
like 5'6".
a little dickhead, yeah.
And little.
Yeah, he's 5'6". Like, he's little. But I'm taking Andrew
motion.
Jackson. Another dude took, literally, in a duel, put his gun at his hip, looked the dude square in the face, ate the bullet, came back, popped dude right in his neck.
You don't know the craziest thing about duels?
I want somebody that can take pain.
It was not illegal. Like, if I was like 10-pace duel and I turned around on 3 paces and shot you in the back, it wasn't illegal.
Yeah,
that
but the thing is, back then respect was big.
That would just make me a dick. Like, people just
sound like Tom Haverford on that.
Oh, dude, Tom Haverford, Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I've even got John Ralphio before in my life.
Got off on a technicality. Yeah, my list started off good. I was liking the Alexander the Great, and then it pretty much went downhill from there. I'm not going to lie to you.
I thought your list was just buns.
Yeah, well, fuck you.
That was the best part of the show for me.
Yeah, honestly, I think my list was amazing just because of the George Washington that we got to get from you. That was
a
awesome.
solid one.
Alrighty, well, fellas, I think that's how we're going to end the show today. I got my foot wrapped up in something, so hopefully Derek doesn't get me for that. But we had a great show. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. Thank you, Brock and Adam, for coming on, dropping some knowledge for us. Make sure that you're tuned into our socials. We do have the August 8th high school fantasy football draft coming up
Extravaganza.
at the Creekside Occasion, 7 p.m. Make sure that you're there for that. And we have a bunch of other new stuff coming out, so make sure you're on our socials. And shout out to Derek again for that intro.
Great new intro.
Hell yeah.
Great new intro. Amazing.
Peace out, Girl Scouts. We love you.